in.
Okay,
And
then isn't it that if that's the case, if that's not what he said, then maybe I'm not saying that. Maybe
Well,
I heard him
it's all
wrong.
on
dude, he's
stream.
got to be trolling if he's not coming up, but he can text and stuff. Come on.
No, I don't think. I mean, he is. He does claim troll.
Does he? All right. Well, it's not even a
Troll,
question.
he has a troll lineage, I think, but I don't think he's
Yeah,
trolling.
but not in this
believe what
particular
he's
thing.
saying.
Not
Like,
on this
that's his
particular
position.
topic. I don't think he's trolling. I mean, like we had a very serious conversation about it, like a few days, like last week or whatever it was.
Yeah, but the
And
fact that it's an illusion may even be falsifiable. But it's a belief. You can believe it's an illusion and live your life that way. I can believe that it's not an illusion and live my life that way.
What would be the
But
benefit? See, that's the thing. It's like,
you
what's
don't know
the
any more
benefit?
than I do, one way or the other, 100% for sure. So
I would just be like,
we're both choosing an illusion to go with.
here's what I'm saying, Jeff, is like, if you were honest and you really were like, yo, I think this is the way it works, and I'm telling you this out of honesty because I think it'll help. If someone else also does that as well, then there is no disagreement. It's just trying to help. You see,
Yeah, I
like,
don't think it's possible to live life without illusions as humans. I think we're surrounded by illusions all the time that we're not aware. Each one of us are individual, like what the idols of the cave, Bacon calls them, our own individual little distortions that crop up. Like, so
that's true.
I accept illusion as part of the condition of life, of like mental life, social life, etc. Maybe not physical life.
Yeah, but like, okay, I mean, because that's a truth. That is a truth, actually. That is
I
part of
think
life.
you are, Denizen, and you think you're not. So, like,
I'm
where
not
does it get
choosing this
resolved?
illusion.
I'm not going to dismiss your experience and say you're wrong, that you're
This guy's
not
funny,
having the
whoever he is.
experience that you're not choosing, but I'm having a very different experience. So how do we determine whose experience is reflecting reality accurately?
You could just say neither and both.
Yeah, I
and
think
once
that's
again,
what quantum mechanics
once
is
again,
kind of starting to
my
say.
opinion is that I do not think Denizen is trolling. I do not believe that.
No,
By
I
the
don't-
Both
way,
of them are
want-
true, right? If
They
they are
can
both
be.
subjectively true,
The
to the
illusions
person.
are, yeah, I think the possibility of having multiple different subjective illusions around this is
Oh yeah,
true.
everyone's different, I think, right?
Yeah.
Mirror, mirror
There's-
on the wall.
I mean,
Who's the
pretty
most
much, yeah.
deluded
to
of
a
all?
degree and to not a degree, yeah.
It does.
I mean,
It does
even
depend on how you
Go
see
ahead.
yourself. It does depend on how
Yeah.
you see yourself, and
Yeah.
so that's
Perception is
definitely yeah.
reality for the most part.
Well, perception is duality because
yeah,
if
you know,
there's
that's a good way of putting it. I can see what you mean by that. I mean, I'm not saying I mean, once again, it's one of those things where I don't know.
because I know that a lot of things are duality.
I do believe in a dualistic
What do you
reality.
mean
but
by that, Lanza?
I mean, like whatever
I
you
hear a lot of
perceive,
people spitting that word out.
whatever you perceive has to be in a realm that you know, and the realm that we know is a dualistic, like
because almost everything is defined by contrast, right? Because like
yeah,
because
contrast. I was just gonna say light and dark, and
if you have no darkness, you have no concept of light, or vice versa. You can't if there is not the opposite of one, you can't define the other. So yes, I mean, like I agree with
so
that
here's
completely.
the opposite of what you see outside of yourself. The opposite of that, which is duality outside of yourself. I mean, I guess you maybe could say there's duality within yourself as well, but your own personal vision that you can hold in your mind. A picture's worth 1,000 words. That vision, I believe, is what can help guide through the dualistic vision that we have to all endure, and some call it free will, and some call it whatever that other guy calls it.
What are you talking about? I mean, like the very fact of duality implies a choice, implies two different sides of something that you have to choose between. So everything, I mean, like every one of your arguments, like I mean, maybe
There is no
maybe I
choice.
mean, yeah, I don't
In the
understand.
way
I
there's
don't
no
understand
choice in
where
the
you're
way
coming
you.
from. I really want to, and I don't. I mean, because both you and Steve both talked about how, like, you know, accepting this, like made your lives better. You know, it improved your
That part I
your
that part I kind of understood, and it didn't have to be true, to have a truth to it, kind of like religion and art and other things.
Sure.
It can be
Sure.
helpful without necessarily being true. So that part I understood, and that's the part that made the most sense to me of all of it. Hey,
To
Angelina.
me, it would be the opposite, though. I feel like that would absolutely like.
You know, it's
I don't know.
different. Like I would not have the same experience, but I could like I don't rule out that other people could have a different
No,
experience.
yeah,
than
I
me
agree.
and have
I
it
agree
be
with that.
positive.
Yeah, that's true.
What's up,
I don't
Angelina?
understand. I don't understand exactly how, but I do understand that other people can have a completely different experience of something from myself, and that it can be, yeah. Anyway,
This world is set up to limit or take advantage of your perceptions in terms of advertising and attention and focus and everything.
That's not the
Is
world.
that
That's
a real
mankind.
background or is that a virtual background? Or are you in front of that beautiful cloth?
I'm pretty sure it's a green screen. I can see the
mine?
outline.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's a green screen.
It's just a green sheet, but then I put a background on it.
Oh, okay. So it looks so real.
Yeah.
It looks like you have a sheet hanging behind you.
You can see the outline just around her shape, though. You can see like
I see it kind of now around
yeah,
the headphone.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very good.
It's helpful for Jesse too, because then he can put his purple one up there or whatever we want to do.
People that can get their chroma keying just perfect, where you can't even see the outline. Like that's like wizardry to me. I've tried so many times to get like the chroma keying just perfect like that. Like I've never been able to do it. I have messed around with programs doing that for hours and hours trying to get the chroma key just right. And I even with the right lighting and everything else, I just can't do it. I don't know. I haven't just figured that one out yet. So.
Dan, I need you to come up and help me with this. If I wanted to try this as an experiment, I don't even know how to begin. Like, stop assuming I have free will. Okay, I'm trying.
Okay, I think I see what he's saying. It's a trick
working.
now. I think I see what he's saying. It's a damn trick, this little guy. What he's saying is no glory goes to you.
No what?
And if I'm right, say I'm right, and I thank you for putting that in the chat. If I'm wrong, I still like the way it sounded. It made me feel good.
I didn't hear the first part. No what belongs to you?
No glory.
No glory goes to you, if that's the humbleness in what he was trying to say. And if not, the dude's just nuts, because I can't figure out what he's talking about then.
What you just said kind of made sense. I think I grasped a lot of that. Yeah, Lance is right. Okay, so
thank you, man. I appreciate that dude for putting that in there. That was slick.
I think I understand it even better, because it's not about describing reality in that case. It's about describing how you subjectively experience it.
Yeah.
So you oh God, how do I want to say this? Let me think this through, because you are not. There's part of the experience that you're like offloading onto nature or God or something that I'm like including in as part of myself. It's the same experience. I think we're just framing it differently and emphasizing different parts of it, and based on the experience we're having. Like, we're both having different experience of the same thing, so that's causing us to focus on different parts of the experience and exaggerate and emphasize those. But when you put our two views together and look at the whole experience, it starts to make sense. If any of that made sense.
Yeah, I saw a correlation in what you were saying there. I wanted to say too, the correlation I kind of saw was like thinking in terms of like.
Well, Lanza, y'all are on the same wavelength. So
thinking in terms of like.
You must hearing that
Who
like
is
buzzing
that?
noise?
That's the most terrible
the
mic I've ever
Who's
heard.
I know what's doing that.
Thank
you.
Somebody's
Chris,
buzzing.
it's got to be you. Your lights
I
are.
don't hear buzzing noise.
Oh, I think it's Angeline. Your microphone was coming.
Yeah, because I was muted whenever it started, so
I was muted.
If I mute, do you hear it?
No.
No,
it goes away when you mute.
And now it's there?
Yeah.
What?
It sounds like wireless. It sounds like a radio.
I was about to speak some truth. It's like a psychic attack or something.
It's so frustrating. My sound stuff has been giving me so much trouble lately.
Let me check your set. Oh, your settings are bumped way up too. All right, see if that helps.
probably
Tremendously.
overdriving it.
Better.
Tremendously.
Yeah, okay. It was like set at 200.
It's much more tolerable by a large degree at this point.
Okay. As long as it's tolerable, I guess.
I think I'm trying to remember, but I think the link, Jeff, that I heard in what you said was I kind of lost it.
About the glory, like not wanting the glory.
Yeah, but then you said, "Let me think about it," and you said, "Let me go through what I think about this." And
He's like the locus of choice for him is external to himself, and for me it's internal. It's the same. I understand it. I see it visually. I'm working to articulate it. So I guess I'm in the same position he is now. We're
Sure.
both struggling to articulate our positions.
Oh, I was going
But
to say the correlation is that it's in terms of looking at how things are versus how they will be. I think that it shows a difference in, huh?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I was talking to
I
the
think
comment.
I think that it shows a difference in it's like kind of like what not what you're remembered for, but like what you did for others, sort of thing. Like it's not
Yeah,
like
I see what you're
it's
saying.
kind of
I
like
mean,
it's kind of like
I see
legacy,
the
like what you leave behind, but like it's not about you. It's like you can't legacy isn't about you, but it's like dope as shit.
right. Yeah. No, I see what you're saying there. I mean, there's I don't understand how that's free will, but I mean, I get that. I get
I
that,
mean,
like that viewpoint.
I don't really know either way, but that one, like, I don't know. I just heard it's better to pay homage.
Yeah, I mean,
I heard that's a different form of currency.
No, there is such a thing as self-development. Like at some point, there's something internal that can take over and contribute to the result or the outcome. We're not at the passive mercy. Insomniac Gragu. Who do we have here?
Yeah, it's like what was it? God makes me God. God made sure I have an 8-pack. Like, no, he didn't, dude. You went to the gym. Come on, let's be honest.
Yes,
You know
I
what mean?
freely
Like,
exert my will.
Feels
There
like
is a
there's two
degree
different
of it,
things
and
at
I think
play.
that's the debate: is where that line is. There is a degree of
very
it
good,
which I
Jeff.
freely exert. Insomniac, can you pop on camera real quick backstage, or tell us who you are in the? Okay. Welcome.
Hi,
Hi.
Baby Yoda.
it's Dutchy. Yes, exactly. It's Baby Yoda.
this is Duchess. Okay.
Is
Yeah,
that
Nice,
Leo?
Oh,
nice,
hey.
Oh, look, the green
nice to
screen's on him.
nice to meet you, Grogu,
Thanks, you guys.
or Insomniac, or Duchess, or whatever you want to go by. But yeah.
Just go by Dutchy, but Insomniac Grogu is just a name that I kind of adopted for myself.
Is that the one you want me to
Okay.
put in the description?
I've
I
got
mean,
my little guy too.
Oh, that's nice. I have one too. It's cute.
Grogu is Baby Yoda is pretty cute. It's kind of impossible to
Yeah,
deny it.
I don't like the name Grogu as much. When they announced the name, I was like, oh, that's kind of a letdown. So to me, it's still Baby Yoda, but Insomniac
Yeah.
Grogu. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, no doubt.
So continue, because I kind of
So
missed what you guys were talking about. It was free will still, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
I had some
you know what's
thoughts on
funny?
that too.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Angeline. I'd like to hear your
Like,
thoughts.
there's free will. Like, I mean, there is and there isn't, and there's almost two different kinds of free will, I guess, because there's our brain, which is our organ, which I guess gets programmed and wired right from birth, right? So we have these programs running in it as an organ that we could have going off automatically that we're not even aware of. And that can be part of growth, right? Is becoming aware of the autopilots and the programming. And even the wiring in our nervous system and muscles, muscle memory can be wired from birth, right? So we can be going on autopilot on a lot of things and
That's true.
becoming
We
aware of that.
don't consciously choose to breathe every second we
Yeah, but
breathe.
I
We
think
breathe
that's
We don't.
automatically.
There's
You know.
influence. I don't
conscious and
think it's
unconscious.
control. I don't think it negates my ability
I
to
don't think it does
also
either.
Oh no, I
interact
think
with
there's
that and
also
guide and direct it consciously.
that's why I said there's two parts, right? Because
Yeah.
there's that, but then there's also our own conscious awareness. Like when we're in the present and we are aware of what we're doing and we're trying to be aware instead of running off of autopilot, that's how we can make change, right? Even we can make choices to choose to reprogram ourselves. And there's also like the part like when you meditate, you observe the stuff going autopilot in your mind, right? Versus just thinking you are what's just automatically going on in your mind. So there's another consciousness part of us. And you were saying about like the double slit experiment. That's interesting too, that, you know, there's the flesh part and the wiring and all the stuff here, but then there's also the part of us like that kind of observes all that. And if we affect energy by how we observe it, then we're also partially creating this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Do
Yeah.
you guys know
You know
the
what?
biggest organ? It's organization.
It's what? Oh,
I don't know. I just made a stupid dad joke up.
Wow.
Oh
well, it
Lord,
landed.
that was bad.
That's
Landed
that
That was
like
metaverse.
bad.
Yeah,
That was
that's
pretty
that.
bad, but I mean, I appreciate a bad joke as much as
I thought it was like
I think
7D.
then I think some of this is semantic because I think that when you
Sorry.
say free will and I say free will, we're not talking about exactly the same thing.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I just I
Okay.
think we're
And so
I
some
think
of that needs to
I
be
think we
reconciled.
need to almost come up with like a we need
May
to
I
like
offer two easy to explain ways to think about it?
sure.
All right. Number one is you have free will, but you do not have free reign. The second way is you are an author, but only to an extent.
Or maybe because we live in a capitalist society, we have free will and we have paid will. I'm just kidding.
Slave will. I would,
Chris,
Lanza,
I think mine was better.
you just said.
Yours was
That
better.
makes
Yours
sense.
was better. Yours was better, Lanza. It was way better. I was trying to compete, but I couldn't keep up there.
Yes, you
You know,
can.
what's really funny. What's really funny is like the song that we use as the opening theme song for this show. And Jeff was at the beginning was talking about like how much he likes that like the song. The song I made and like the lyrics to it are literally about what we're talking about. It's just like I just realized that I was like the lyrics to that song literally are about the concept of like how if what you do in the present can change the past and like or if changing the future can ever affect the past is what it says in the song. And I was like damn, like it was like Jeff like talking about that song at the beginning of it. I wasn't thinking about that at all, but then now that we're in this like debate on free will and talking about like choices and in this way affecting the past, it all does seem kind of
We
predetermined in a way,
talked
doesn't
about
it?
that one day on here
Yeah.
about changing
Well,
the
I mean,
present
it's like,
past or something.
I mean, seems like you could just like, okay, so you know how there's like on a mirror sometimes they have like a regular mirror and then you can flip it around and it'll be like a 5x mirror or
Oh
something.
yeah, like the magnifying. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you've seen those before, and like I just think it's kind of like
Makeup
that,
mirror.
man. And I think we actually have that ability to be like a little bit, like what, like you. I mean, saying no free will is saying everything's perfect, and like that's definitely a cop out.
Or that everything is just
I don't know.
yeah.
I've never heard a harder cop out.
Like the waveform is already collapsed. So like whatever the superposition has already for our reality has already collapsed. So it's just playing itself out and we're just passively a part of it. But that's not how human experience itself.
And that's
That
Not
also
only
not how
appears
that's not
but
what
works.
science
In
has shown.
reality, we would not function or survive if we acted as though everything was predetermined. There's no way we could,
and that's not what science shows us
continue as a
either.
species.
that's right. I think you might be right on that.
I mean,
I don't know why that sounds right to me.
Have any of you ever looked deep into like astrology and stuff and how fascinating that is?
I
It's
was
fascinating.
studying
Yes,
to
ma'am.
become a professional astrologer when I was in my
'Cause some
20s.
of that feels like it's like some of it is predetermined. Like we knew what we'd be kind of wired as
That's the
before we
mirror.
came.
That's like looking up and being like, okay, I can't move that. I can't I can't tell that thing no through that mirror, the small side or like the big side. I don't know. But like, yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of like an in between or something. Like, yeah, but both. That's the thing is like there's
Well,
definite
here's the
practices
man
for
to
all
clear it all up for us.
Yes, here,
Hey,
all
here.
Hank.
sides,
Right?
like left and
Video
right,
games for e-thugs. I like the subtitle there.
metaphysical
There you
and spiritual.
Yes. So I read Present Perfect. It's from like a Buddhist psychologist who tried to calm people down by claiming the universe is perfect. I read the book. I hated it. If the universe is
Yeah.
perfect, then perfection is not good enough for me. It didn't calm me down whatsoever because the state of the universe isn't where I want it. If it's the best you can get, then it's garbage. Perfection's useless. I don't like
Well,
it.
that's literally what I mean. That was an entire. That's an entire like we don't think of it in that term now, but like idealism. The term idealism comes from a branch of philosophy that literally believed that everything actually. It's not just believing that everything should be ideal. It was actually a belief that everything is in its ideal state. No matter what the situation is, everything is as ideal as it can be, and at all times. It's a belief that like I can't remember the guy that came up with it, but it was from like the 1600s or something like that. I want to say.
Probably Kant.
Yeah, I don't think it was Kant. It wasn't a guy. It wasn't a
Well,
name that's very famous. But yeah, I mean,
Schopenhauer?
Kant is similar.
Schopenhauer.
Oh wait,
then?
I tuned
So
out.
just
What are
'cause
y'all
he
trying
said
to
it?
find out?
I'm
I
kidding.
probably know.
Idealism. The word idealism.
Well,
the
there's
term of
metaphysical idealism, which I think was Kant.
I'm talking about the philosophy.
But they had
that believes
forms
that
of ideal. Even Plato could like be in contrast to Aristotle, who's more on the idealism side. With the forms
I
of
mean
Aristotle.
the belief
and you
belief
had
that
George Berkeley and
And then the
that
two
kind
lenses
of
right there,
developed
Jeff.
a
The two
modern
lenses, the big lens and the small lens. Aristotle, Plato, Neoplatonic.
right.
You get like the best of both worlds. There is no one side.
That's what I was
It
trying to say.
can't be one side. You know what I
You
mean?
have to
Like,
put all of this together to come up with the larger.
I mean,
like
yeah,
even
I think we all need to stand in a circle and
probability
hold
of
hands.
reality, not even.
I mean, look. I
Reality
mean,
is
just the way how light breaks down, right? Whenever you put light through a prism and you see the rainbow of colors that's in just like a wave of white light, there is all the colors of the prism, like are all present in that white light that you see, despite the fact that you can't see it until you put it through like that piece of glass and stuff like that. Like, but all those colors are all there. They're not being created by the piece of glass. They are already there in the light, and so like they all shape and shape, help shape or give us an ability to see things in different in different ways, I think, right? So I mean, but at the end of the day, if we have no choice, then I just don't understand what the point of anything is if we have zero choice in anything and everything is just predetermined. I find that to be, it's a very nihilistic philosophy to me.
man.
I mean, if that is reality, if he's right and that's the truth, there's no we can do.
I would rather choose.
Okay.
I would rather
in that
use my free will
condition.
to choose to not believe it, even if that's the case.
But
Yes.
but these truths. You guys know these truths have built-in like stops in them sometimes.
It's a good thing truth is just a feeling then.
What I'm trying to, I think at one point we actually all agreed with him because we said that the humbleness in it's basically like not bragging, and it's basically the most highest form of respect possible. If you look at it from that perspective, then obviously that's free will because you have to choose to do that. You're just not born the most respectful, whatever, and there goes your nature and nurture stuff too. But like, I don't know if you guys.
Well, I talked extensively with I-Fi about free will, and
Good for you.
we kind of came to the conclusion that you can be puppeteered your entire life, and if God blames you for it, you have free will. So there's an attribution error.
Can you say that one more time? Once you said you could be puppeteered your whole life, I had to laugh there and I couldn't.
Yeah. So God could puppeteer your entire life, but if he blames you for it, you have free will. So free will's just attribution. It's just an attribution error.
Yeah, but he also doesn't understand a couple of things, I think.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Yeah, that's right.
And he knows it too. He knows it.
I'm not good. We don't want to talk about him. He doesn't come to the panel
No,
anymore.
he's
So
fine.
Wait, who? What?
He
I-Fi.
knows
Oh.
he knows he catches pushback.
Yeah, I'm okay not talking about him.
It's not about but I don't believe that free will is about control either. I don't believe that it's so control. You can say that control is an illusion to a degree, but I don't believe that free will is about control. It's
What
still
if
about
it's about?
choice.
Well, I was gonna say, what if it's about assimilation?
Assimilation. Okay,
So-
expand on that.
I'm not very. I just say things that sound smart sometimes.
Yeah. So it's free will about possible choice or
It's
actualized choice?
assimilation, okay?
I'll
That's
just
it.
be honest. I'm honest.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's it. I respect that. I respect that.
He
So-
thinks he's bored.
Yeah. So is free will a character history thing, Chris?
Was that?
Is free will a counter history thing, like a possible choice they could have maybe made? Is that kind of thing?
I don't. I mean, I wasn't thinking of it in those terms. Give me something to think about that. I mean, I think free will is about it is about the fact that like in certain there are things that we do that are kind of like outside of like I said, we breathe unconsciously. We do certain things unconsciously. Just the other day on like the panel, just like the other day, I started saying this earlier. Like I was having a reaction to something that Jeff was saying that. And in that moment, and I wasn't reacting to it consciously, aware of like why I was reacting the way I was until I realized it, and then I had to make the choice to like confront myself on that and confront the reality of like the reason I was reacting that way. And I feel like, I mean, if that was programming, I don't understand how that's even like how that programming is. I don't understand how that programming works. Then I guess or something like that. It's very I had to self-reflect. I had to look at what I was thinking and how I was feeling, and I had to react, and I had to choose my reaction based on that. I could have ignored it. I could have done a number of things, but in that moment, I decided like, no, I needed to speak up and call myself out for what I was, how I was reacting, because I felt like it was, I was reacting unconsciously. I wasn't really exerting free will in that moment until I grabbed the reins to a degree for a moment and decided to try to confront my own biases based on like stress and everything that was going on in my life. So
Okay, guys.
so it's like there, at a point you can live your life without ever exerting your free will, and that's kind of part of your choice though too. That's part of free will, is that you have the ability to not exert it. Just like it's like voting, right? You like voting is every person of a certain age in the country has the
Okay,
right to vote, but you also have the right to not vote.
I
You
see
know,
what you're saying.
you have the
Um,
right to choose between the dead guy and like the crazy person, but you can also choose to not vote for either one of them if you want to. And like that is and like so like you have the choice to not choose. So I mean I think if anything that made sense. I don't know if anything that made
Are you
sense, but
no,
sure?
it did. To me, it
This
made a lot of sense.
this is so on point right now. Are you sure that you actually have the right to vote, or the ability to vote for the person that you want to vote for? Because people in Russia, I don't think have a
So,
Here
choice.
we do.
Insomniac Grogu brings up a great point, which I think also correlates with. So basically, like you can either make an action or you can be a reactor. So if you're reacting, there's obviously less of a chance that you would be acting in free will. And there
Yeah.
would be more of a chance that you would believe in no free will or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
And it's
did
not
not
black
say
and
that,
white.
but I like where
It's
you're
not a
going with
strict binary.
yeah, I mean I think that's pretty on point. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
basically what that gets closer to what I was trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm usually the acting person, but there's just limits of how much I can affect the universe. So I kind of just stick free will's a nonsense concept.
All those are studies. It's not. I haven't heard anything conclusive about neurology just demonstrating that
I'll get
choice
some
are also
scientists on that
reactions.
stat. We're gonna put a helium. We're gonna test helium balloons.
But
to
we
see the
even choose.
free
But
will.
we even
We're gonna
we
measure the
don't.
free will of helium in the atmosphere.
I can't choose what happens to me in my life. I do get to choose how I react to it, though. That is
Yeah.
the thing. That's
That's
the whole thing.
the choice. Like you can will
Like,
your
So
emotions.
how do you know that
just
you
because our choices are reactions doesn't not mean they're not choices. Like you still choose how to react. Like the terms choice
Maybe
and
these people have
reaction are
never
not
had the experience of agency. Maybe they've never.
Yeah,
felt
because it's
that.
not an
Like, if you don't
I
have
don't
automatic
the
believe
reflex.
I don't
psychological
believe that about
experience of
I don't
agency.
believe that
How are
about
you going
Steve.
to
Okay.
understand it as a concept, as a practical
I
concept?
don't believe that
So
about Steve. Certainly, I mean, I see. He certainly seems like the kind of person that's had a lot of agency in his life. So I mean,
That-
I can't.
yeah, that's why his position to me is more strange of all.
so if you want to go skydiving, has anybody ever done that?
Dude, I want to.
I
They
haven't.
have it here.
Yeah.
It's like they have it.
You
I've
done it,
wanted
Chuck?
to, but it's
Oh,
so
that's
expensive. It's so
did you
expensive
have
too.
to, or was it a vacation, or?
No, mine was forced when I was in the military. When I was in the military, well, I had a choice whether I wanted to or not. It really wasn't forced. But if I wanted to go work at the White House, then I had to.
Right.
It was encouragement.
Mm-hmm.
You
But it
must have been
was
pretty. You must have had a lot of courage, man. Because I want to do it too, but I just so everyone knows, I saw my friend's mother in Florida. She's like I think she might be like 70, and she just skydove and like had the biggest smile on her face ever. So, but
I
that
think
brings up
there
the
should be
point.
an age limit, though.
Oh, I don't know.
Like they don't let
Maybe
old
she
people
got some
skydive.
surgery. I don't know. Maybe she got a fake ID. I don't know these days. But
I would protest.
she's getting
No, I
stopped at the
said there
airport. You are
should
not
be.
60, ma'am. But
Yeah,
like
but there's
so that brings up the point. If you jump out of the airplane, is that you skydiving, or well, free will? That guy's free will of pull. Because if you've never done it, you have to have somebody on board with you. So they have to be the instructor and they have to do it. So it's like that's not even your free will. So it's like it's a stupid debate.
yeah, it is, and there's people who take like
Not stupid.
your
Take that
mind
back.
makes the things real too far, and just assert things that they can't prove, like everything that happens to you,
Well, yeah,
you gave it permission to happen to you, and that's ridiculous.
they take
And it
it to the
implies
point
blame.
of
Because
it
there's so
being
much
so.
stuff that would totally negate if I had the authority to negate it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a really strange. It's just a really strange position because like I think that's what we're all saying right now is that
Well,
if you really believe that free will doesn't exist, that's still your choice to believe that. And that's fine. You can believe that, but it's still a choice that you're choosing to react to the world in the way that you're reacting to the world, and the part of that reaction is your choice to believe that free will doesn't exist.
you know what's
I
really
mean,
funny? I can disprove it because if if there's no free will and like it all just acts out and shit, that means you don't even have free will over being able to choose if that is like a good situation for you or a bad situation for you, and casting blame around. You can't be casting blame around and believing that there's no free will, dude.
right?
Yeah, it
Well,
needs
no,
to
Unless
hey,
you're
be
hey,
programmed to do
yo,
that.
I'm
If you
starting.
unless you're
if
programmed to
there's
do
if
that,
there's
you'll
no
be a
free
blame
will, then
casting machine. So
if
no,
you
it doesn't.
murder somebody, that's not your fault. I mean, you didn't actually choose to murder that person. You were just reacting based on your past experiences and everything else. And so, whose fault is it that you murdered somebody? I mean, how does that work out in a society in general? Like, how does that not? You should
Just
stop
the
You know what?
blaming.
It
intention.
works out
Just the
pretty good if you want to
intention.
have a cover up stuff going on. I feel like
Wait, what? If you
if
murder
you want to have
somebody?
cover ups, you want to own media outlets, and you want to. I don't know. I'm just saying there are things out there that say that uh, no free will is an excuse to act stupid, and free will is not an excuse to act stupid. So
Well, it is.
Oh shit, you got me, Hank.
Isn't that why they research and do
Right.
all the things to find out if
Back
it's
to Hank.
premeditated or not?
Right.
Otherwise,
Okay.
it's
So,
manslaughter or
okay.
Our
So
opinions are just unevolved. Well, you're not very good at
No,
evolving.
they are evolving. We feel them. We see them.
Yeah.
I feel
If
I
like
mean, yeah,
Lanza didn't have
that is
free will,
true.
I'd make him marry Cynthia.
Man, I'll tell
Why
you
would you
what.
do that?
I'll tell you what, man. You always have great ideas. I'll tell you what.
I mean, I think what Duchess. I think what Duchess was saying. I mean, like it's like about like the investigation to do into like whether or not something's predetermined or not. But like at the
But
same time, there are murders that are premeditated and chosen in before, as opposed to ones that happen at the heat of the moment. That's the reason why we have the distinction between second degree and first degree murder. So if there is in that, but in this particular system of thought, there is no such thing as first degree murder. There is only second degree murder, because it was always a predetermined reaction that you were going to have no matter what, even if you thought about it for months beforehand.
No, it wouldn't even be second degree. It'd be involuntary manslaughter
Right.
in that
Right. Yeah.
regard.
if it's free will, yes, then it
I
would
didn't
be
have free will
voluntary.
to blame you unnecessarily without any evidence. I just felt like it.
All right, Talcott.
I was
Were
gonna
you
say then it's kind of like who's in charge. If we don't have free will, then who's in charge, right?
You are.
And
You
if
have-
that's
Beautiful
source or
question.
God or whatever, then is that not also a part of us?
So we
Right.
are.
So
Yeah.
it gets even more confusing because
No, it doesn't though. It links in because we are charged.
we are charged. Wait, what?
We are charged. We are charged. I have a charge. I don't know about you guys. I got a charge.
You
What
mean
I
do
know I
mean?
have
crime? Is it
life
crime?
force
Like an
energy
electrical
in
charge?
me that makes me alive.
I
But
think
it's like
Which
I
has
think
a
it's that
purpose.
zooming out and
Talking
zooming
about-
in again, right? Is there
Which has a
that zooming
purpose.
out that bigger God source thing that kind of sees the bigger picture of everything and what is going to happen, and then there's our smaller selves in which we can make the little decisions within it.
Well, you have a purpose.
Of
Everybody
course.
here right now has a purpose.
Maybe some people don't. Some people are born and die and do nothing, and some but
Wow.
even your purpose, you sometimes
Well,
you choose it. Like you decide,
okay,
oh,
but
this is my purpose.
just because you can't, just because we can't see it, doesn't mean that person that lived and died and doesn't seem like they had much effect on the world. It doesn't mean they didn't actually have an effect on the world. Just like in very
I'm not
small
saying
ways, they could have
everybody has
affected.
a conscious purpose. Like
It's kind of like, I guess it's kind of like who's counting in a
that's
way,
a
right?
claim. And everybody has a purpose is just a claim. I was exploring a claim. Forgive me.
Okay.
Carry
No,
on.
I
I'll
wasn't. I
stick
didn't
and
mean
do
to. I
my
wasn't.
puzzle.
I was trying to get to the core of it. That's all. I wasn't like trying to down you
Chris, how
for
dare you bring
my
the rule of Babylon upon us like that?
Just maybe not everyone's aware of their purpose or are in alignment with it.
I mean,
Mhm.
like you could look at like the butterfly
Yeah.
effect type thing to like just to see how like even like someone in a you could you could see how like someone in a tribal culture that has no knowledge of the outside world could make some small decision while hunting that affects this animal, and that causes a chain reaction of effects that it does whatever the case
I
might
mean,
be.
it
You
could be as a story. It could be, but there's no way to falsify that.
No, there's not. But there's no way to prove it or
Oh,
falsify it. Yeah, there's no way.
I meant to say the
It's
butterfly is like an energy pattern, like
Maybe
a neutron or something, or like atom or something.
so if
But
like,
we can
it
choose,
has to do with
Denizen, if we
time.
can choose, if we can choose our own purpose, then how do we not have free will?
Because you have a vision. So you can envision something that you're going to do. You can try to do it, and you can fail.
Right.
It doesn't mean you didn't try to do it.
But you chose to try to do it. It doesn't matter if you fail. Like the consequences of your
It does
choices
though. It
aren't
does
the
though.
same
It does
thing as
though. It
having the
does though.
choice.
It does matter because you
Okay.
chose to do it. It does matter. That's why you chose to do it. and that's why
That is
it
what I just
matters.
said. That's what I just said.
Yes, but then you said even if you failed, you said it doesn't matter, and I say it does matter because you did choose it.
Okay, well, I misspoke then, but I mean, what I was trying to say is that even if you fail, your choice still mattered. That you set out to try to do something. That's not. I didn't
But
mean it
what's
like
it
that.
matter?
What
It
the
matters
hell?
like to you.
What does it matter to
Give me
me?
a
It matters
headache.
to actually it matters. It does matter.
I mean, the
I don't know
fact
what I'm
that
talking
I
about.
fail can still have an effect. And like my failure to enact my will can still
Ooh,
affect things around me, and therefore it still matters.
yeah, for sure.
My free will is leaking from my body at the moment. That's what I have to say about it.
It's what?
My free will is leaking from my body at the moment.
Are you
It's
I'm sorry.
sweating?
Leaking.
Are
Plug
you
the
like
hole.
I'm truly sorry, Duchess.
Yeah, like
leaking?
she doesn't get like maybe will is fluid.
Wow.
Maybe sometimes it's more
Trying to
free than
envision how
others.
that's
Maybe it's
possible.
not
it's
so.
fluid. Yeah.
I think she's saying. I think she's saying that we're boring or we're. Is
No,
that
it
what you
feels like
mean?
you're going circular. Like there's
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's agree. Circles are part of life too. Circle of life, they say.
Well,
I mean,
And there's rhythms and there's okay, whatever.
what's your
hard
take
to
on it,
actually
or add
get
your
to the
circle
point
to
Yeah,
it?
if
please tell us your take on it.
free will or not. Like we'll never get to that point. Yeah.
Who?
I don't think we'll ever get to the point that we can determine like, oh, we have free will or we don't have free will or it's
I think we
predestined.
can.
Yeah, we may not.
Maybe
We
just
totally
That's
can.
why-
We just we actually had to do some science.
do you have are you saying because like you don't control when you have to go to the bathroom that you don't have free will?
I personally don't have control over when I go to the bathroom because I'm neurodivergent. I really need to get that point in my body that I'm like, oh shit, I have to go to the bathroom for like 2 hours already, and then I'm going. So
I see.
there's
No,
some.
I'm mostly
My
I'm
body.
neurodivergent.
There
I'm
is a
mostly
window I
confident,
have
unless
to
I'm
work
buried
with,
in
but at
work and
some
don't have
point,
time.
the
I
body
can
I
goes
do
see.
that.
No,
assert
okay.
itself.
Yeah.
I'm hearing too much voices.
Okay, I see you're not gonna get to the point on free will or not. Okay.
But yeah,
I would just
free
vote on
will.
the
As
side of
long as you have a test for proposition, we can know if we have free will or not. Just most people
oh,
just
it's so hard
don't
to
know what they
do.
mean enough to make a test for proposition.
Oh, I know how to do it. You prepare prepare for the best. No, wait, you prepare for the worst, but expect the best.
And hope for the best.
Hope for the best,
Expect
right?
the best.
Or expect the best.
Or hope.
Prepare for the
Okay,
worst, but
big
expect the
that's not
difference.
just
best.
through free will.
Yeah, that's not a bad like mental attitude to take.
Yeah.
toward
Yeah.
things.
I've done it. It's helped before. Trust
can
me.
Which you can choose.
you can certainly
can
choose to
will
believe
a
that.
mental attitude.
Yeah.
It just the same thing.
Jack talked about this through free will. That was there you go.
Chris, you're killing me. What do you guys want to talk about?
Oh, I don't know.
Are you done with free will? Now that
Yeah,
we're not
I
gonna
it
ever
seems
solve
that
it.
I feel like
What's it all matter?
we've got,
No free will.
And Denizen is really the only one that is very firmly making a claim in one. I think the rest of us are kind of more open to this is what it seems like. This is what my experience of it is. But it's really hard to say definitively one way or the other. Denizen, I think, is the one taking the most dogmatic position and then challenging the rest of us to disprove it.
How do you live life though with that
I don't
particular
know.
attitude that
Like
you have
my
no
whole life, like it is trying to gain as much of a sense of empowerment and agency as I can over my circumstances. So the opposite of that is so foreign from what I'm trying to
yeah,
do.
you could never be happy, I wouldn't think.
I hate feeling at like a victim or at the mercy of things or like that I don't have some kind of control over my like events or circumstances or like I have some power in any situation and it's just finding what that power is and using it. And so to believe the opposite of that is so disempowering.
Yeah, I agree with
Psychologically.
Jeff.
Bro, the opposite of it is that you have all the power all the time.
Then you get the big head and the ego.
No, I didn't say that. But it's possible.
It's a likely trajectory. Maybe not in every instance.
Opening our minds.
Man, you guys Cult and Denizen are just going at it in the comments about
I
who's
wish they'd
if
come
someone's
up
trolling
here.
or not. Yeah, me too.
Well,
someone
peanut
thinks I'm
gallery
trolling for
people
real,
be peanut
dude.
gallery people. They can throw peanuts at
I'm
each
tired of
other.
this crap. I'm trying out here, man. I'm trying to make sense of
You're
shit.
doing good, Lance. I got to give you your props for today. You're doing great. You made a lot of
Yeah,
things.
me too. I
You
agree.
said a lot of things that made sense and had me thinking.
You're opening your mind to the possibilities.
He does pretty good
As
every day.
opposed to a closed mind, yeah.
Yeah,
Closed
Brown's
I still
pretty
mind
think
ain't no
good every
good.
day. He's pretty good.
I think I'm like 60% what I could be.
60% of where you could be? What do you mean?
I mean, like, with my free will, I'm about 60% free will right now.
Oh.
Are you leaking free will or are you gaining free will? Like which one is?
You said leaking or what?
Yeah, leaking. Mhm.
Or what?
It's your will sapping, draining.
Yeah,
What?
you're stealing.
Because
Yeah,
eventually,
yeah.
even if that you're gonna
Where do you
get to
guys
the point where
from?
you will yourself a different experience, and then you'll sign off or go to a different panel or take a break or whatever. So at some point, even with your will leaking, it's gonna kick in to react to that leakage somehow.
You are
Now we're
highly upsetting.
now I'm lost in the leakage thing.
Man, you guys
Intermission.
Maybe they
caught
make
me. You
the
guys
pins
caught me. I don't
short,
know how you
Chris.
did it, but you guys caught me. I don't know what to say. I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm completely I'm at a loss for words now.
Are you
What are your guys'
leaking?
thoughts on being in alignment or out of alignment?
That's a
With
good one.
what?
Just
Yeah, you gotta
like
be.
your okay, so being
Your
in
path, your
alignment
purpose,
is
something like
what
that.
makes you feel alive and brings you life-giving energy, brings you life, all that stuff that feels in alignment with your higher self outside of fear. So it's kind of like
Mhm.
being in alignment versus being out of alignment where you're like doing what you know you shouldn't do or you know something's not right or it feels like it's sucking the life out of you or whatnot. That's
Right.
what I
Yeah.
would consider in alignment versus out of alignment.
With alignment with what? I stepped away. Like the universe,
Anything you do,
harmony,
Like just like with your with I guess I kind of like your path, your purpose,
like the
your
flow, like a flow state, like when you're in the flow, in your flow.
like a flow in a way. I mean, you
I mean,
know,
I think that we're destined to go out, as in your terminology, to come out of alignment at certain times, and those are the challenging times we have in our life, and those are the times when our choices matter the most because it's all about like trying to like figure out like what's wrong and like and what's but sometimes it's not as simple as I think some people that take that view sometimes take it too far. I've known people that have like have left marriages and relationships and stuff like that because they just like it just didn't feel right or something like that, and maybe that was the right thing for them to do, but it seemed really callous to me at the time. I've seen, and I think to some people like that they see that something's out of alignment, they immediately try to like make major life changes to change that. And I think that that's sometimes the way to sometimes you're supposed to be dealing with certain like things. Sometimes you're
Yeah,
supposed to like
Yeah,
you're
we
supposed to
need we
struggle and
grow
fight.
through challenge and
Yeah.
adversity. We
there's
need some of that in our life.
there's too many
oh,
variables for you to be in alignment 100% of the time. If you had control of your entire environment, that'd be different. But there's too many variables that keeps us from being in 100% alignment all the time.
Yeah, I agree with Chuck. And I'm trying to right now pull as much power inside me as possible because pretty much if I had to have other people in the way, there's no possible way I could get in alignment with
So,
myself.
in order to be in alignment, I would have to understand what alignment
Alignment with
I would have
yourself,
to
with
be
your
in.
higher self, with your
Like when you
yeah,
purpose.
like
feel
we
in
don't
harmony with
control other
yourself.
people. And I mean, we can be in and out of alignment at any time. I agree. It's just, it's, I think And we have to understand too that wherever we go, we bring ourselves with us, and something in us is what has created the circumstances around us. So it doesn't really matter if we just jump out and leave something if we don't figure out what's going on within us, right? So when I say in alignment, I mean for ourselves, like just our own individual moment by moment, what feels expansive or life-giving to us, like am I going to say this, am I not going to say this, do I want to make this next move or not, does doing this repeatedly feel like what I'm supposed to be doing, or can I choose something different that feels more expansive? I guess it's like an everyday moment, but yeah.
See, like once again, Denizen, like your statement that you just made to Jack's Law is to me is in such contradiction to everything else you're saying. He says it's like what matters more to the point of a life, and you said it's what you make it. But according to your own philosophy, you don't get to make it anything. You don't get to make it.
What
There is no free
philosophy are you
will.
Philosophy
talking
is
about?
making.
Exposed himself.
I thought philosophy was making. Like my friend was like, "Oh, I don't like philosophy." He goes, "I like cooking chicken." I go, "Do you have a recipe?" He goes, "Yeah, I love these recipes." I said, "That's a philosophy on how to cook chicken, dude."
How is that a straw man? How is that a straw man, Denizen? I didn't create a straw man at all. I absolutely did not.
That's why you need to be up here.
Now I'm starting to think you're trolling, because that's a
What
bullshit
do you mean
argument.
now,
think he
bro?
was
If you're
That's a
gonna be a
bullshit argument.
denizen, you have to actually like reside, like lurk somewhere.
Dude, I was about to ask, is he like the secret producer of the show? Like, how is this guy like trying to pigeonhole us for like an hour? Like, he's getting good answers. I think that's why he keeps doing it. He's like, yeah, this is good stuff. Like, I want to keep thinking about it.
Maybe he's I-Fi's cousin.
Yeah.
Okay,
They've both
he
been
just
on panel at
said
the same time, so they can't be the same person. So at
he
least I know
just
that.
said that if we started talking about Putin, he would come up on panel. So let's talk about Putin, and then we'll just
Well,
shoehorn
I
this
mean,
whole
What?
conversation back at it.
Go for it.
That's fine. That's
I don't
fine.
have
Just
much
keep
to
it
say
Putin.
about Putin. I can't control what other people talk about.
Who is this?
But you
Oh,
can come
I
on
mean,
talk about Putin if you want. Say
Vlad
what you
TV.
have to say. I don't know what I'll have in response.
I have a lot to say about Putin, and it's not going to be nice. And I see that there's someone
Yeah, I
in
don't care for
chat
the guy at
named
all.
Vladimir Putin. So yeah,
I guarantee you, I
Well,
can.
we can have Vladimir Putin.
Are we
come
the
on.
commenter Putin, or are we talking about the actual political figure Vladimir
the
Putin?
actual political. No, there's actually there has been a mass shooting like today in Moscow. So
Oh,
Okay,
what?
I didn't know that, so I
yeah,
wasn't I wasn't. I
Is
mean,
it
I'm not a
related
fan
to
of I'm not a
Putin?
fan of
Are you
Putin
in
either. By the way,
political?
I'm
no,
not
me
the
neither.
commenter. I have no issue with the person.
There was a
I don't know the
terrorist
person.
attack at a concert hall.
Right.
Wow, at least 40 dead, dozens. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Does it
Hey
say
guys.
which group?
Oh,
Sorry.
I'm just looking at headlines now. Let me see.
Well, Putin obviously is going to blame the Ukraine for this, but there's also the Wagner group who could have done it. It could also be just disgruntled citizens that do not like the fact that he is reelected again as president. So the possibilities are
Like their
endless
day
when it
six.
comes to the people that actually did this. But yeah, it's just the whole situation in Russia, and I'm from Europe. I'm like from the Netherlands, so to me it's closer than it is to you guys, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I mean, like it just in general. Like, I mean, it's hard anytime something happens. Like, it's close to your hometown or something like that. Even if you're not living there, or haven't lived there a long time, it always hits you a lot harder. When
Right.
it's like I live there, I live 20 minutes from there, or whatever the case might be, it always hits you a lot harder. Yeah.
I mean, in the beginning, when the war actually started in the Ukraine, we had like the effects, and it sounds really fucking. Sorry, I'm not sure if I can cuss over here.
Oh,
You
But
can cuss all you want. You can fucking cuss all you want, man.
Great, awesome. Well, okay, it's really fucking weird to actually start talking about the fact, like, oh, I was so affected by the war in the Ukraine when our grocery stores were basically just empty because we depend on, like, the wheat and everything from the Ukraine. So
Yes.
it's weird how something that affects another country can affect the rest of the world, or at least some part of the world. So yeah, I don't know.
We're all kind of
I have
interdependent in a way.
sorry.
I said we're all kind of
Interconnected.
in a way at this point in
Yeah,
history.
of course. And the weirdest part is that even though the United States is like the youngest country in like world history, everybody looks at the United States, and everything that happens over there happens 5 years later in my country, for instance. Like, we're going the exact same direction. So everything that happens with you guys is like a glimpse into the future of what my future is going to be in 5 years from now.
Do you think you'll have the power to change that? Like, speaking of will, or is it like you're at the mercy of that pattern?
I think I'm at the mercy. I don't think I have free will when it comes to world leaders and the heading, that I can make the conscious decision to leave. But then still, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm like really into the whole free will debate. I'm not sure if I agree to it or if I disagree to it. I'm still like on the fence, I guess.
That
I
might
just
not
want
be.
to, I just want to shout out the cult of culture there, man. Like, I want to let you know that I think your comments are valuable in the comments. I'm sorry that you feel you're being trolled. Like, we're certainly not trolling you here from the panel. I just want you to know, like, I thought your comments were I've agreed with
He's
many of
talking
your
about
comments.
denizens. Like, being trolled
Yeah,
by
I think
denizens.
he is too. I just want to I just want to just give him some support, just because I think he felt a little bit, he felt like he was like, he felt like he was getting made dog pile a little bit, but by Denizen and somebody else.
Oh,
But
well, that's way more considerate of you than I would expect from the stream. So I guess that's nice.
I try to be considerate to everybody in the stream,
Yeah,
though.
you
I
did
always
that.
say,
You did
except for
good.
until
I would
they
not have thought of that.
prove themselves to be completely fucking, like, useless and until they turn into iFi, and then I turn on them. I turn on them hardcore. So I used to be, as I said before, I used to be, I think, the biggest iFi booster. I was always like saying, "No, I love iFi being on the panel. I love him being here." And then it turned into like, no, like I don't even want to,
Well,
like, he'd show up and
that's
I
a
wouldn't
good
Hope I
even want to
point.
didn't
show up.
So
make.
what do you want us to do? Block him, shut him down? Like, just because you don't like what he's saying? I mean, he's contributing to the conversation. You might not like his style or agree with him. I don't, but
I hope I
I
didn't
don't
make
want to just
Lanza
be
mad.
bringing down the
I
hammer.
don't know what happened to Lanza
Really,
or I mean,
in I've hidden very few people, but in the past when I have, it's because they were cursing out guests or other people in the comments. Like, they were just being really hateful. And that's about it. Other than that, I don't want to constrain somebody's.
There's only been a few that's been that way.
Yeah, really, a handful, like 3 or 4.
So the cult of culture, just because you don't like what he's saying, he must obviously have been trolling. That's kind of like a weird statement. And
I like our chatters. I like you, Cole. I appreciate your
yeah.
chat. I'm happy with our. I went for a different audience at first, and I got this one instead, and I wouldn't trade it for anything anymore. I found that out.
You got a good group, Jeff. Mostly.
I don't know, Lanza. If you got, if something made you mad, I'm not sure what, man. Like, I thought
Yeah,
everything was going
I
fine.
made
Oh
that.
wait,
I
what?
made
Wait,
that
what?
joke and he left.
Oh, I
Oh.
missed that completely.
I didn't even hear you make a joke. I didn't even
Yeah,
Lanza's
hear.
you did.
Lanza's a big boy. He's great. He'll
Yeah, I
do.
said Lanza must be iFi's cousin, and then he disappeared.
Oh,
I thought you said Denizen was iFi's cousin.
No, Lanza. I said Lanza.
I thought
I thought you were talking about Denizen. I didn't even think you were talking about Lanza. I thought you were talking about Denizen.
I
That's
was
what I
just,
thought you were
I
talking
was just making a joke. Was all bad joke.
about. Oh, I didn't even,
I'm not worried
I
about it.
wouldn't even caught it like that. I don't know why Hank did the Irish goodbye today either, but he does it all the time. So
Oh, he is
He
gone.
always
Ain't he?
does. When does he not do Irish goodbye? I mean, every now and then he might type something in the comment, but
yeah.
mostly, most of the goodbyes around here are Irish, of the Irish kind, unless we're like all wrapping up together at the end.
I mean, I always try to say, well, and the only time I ever Irish goodbye is whenever my connection goes out and I can't get back on.
It started as a mental health channel, and then I was going for like philosophy, like really deep dives into philosophy topics with philosophy geeks and nerds, and it like really dry and abstract, and it turned into this.
Philosophy,
Is even more
yeah,
of what I was looking for and didn't even realize.
philosophy is a never-ending story.
It's
Right.
right. I mean, if we ever assume that we've actually nailed philosophy, we've got philosophy covered, we understand it all, then it's a dead thing. It has to be philosophy is a conversation, right?
Well, we
to
have
be a
Denizen
constantly
right
moving.
here in
Yeah, Denizen is finally joined the panel. Thank you for
digital
joining, sir.
flesh.
It's about time.
Okay, he's here to enlighten and illuminate. Do you think?
And I'm not kidding. I genuinely am trying to understand your perspective, man. I have not been. I wanted to make that clear. I'm not. I'm
I
not
think
like.
or he wants to talk about Putin, one or the other.
Oh, we can talk about Putin if you want to. That's fine. I don't have much to say about it, but you're welcome to to say what you want to say about Putin. Hello, are you there?
Or not.
Has Denizen joined the chat or has he left the chat?
He's trolling.
That's not troll. Silence isn't trolling, is it? Is silence
He
trolling?
might be.
Oh,
He
that's
could be
the
fucking with
new thing now, Chris. In case you hadn't noticed it, people go up on other people's panel and just sit there and not say a word.
I have not been going to other people's panels in a little while here. I've been too focused. I pretty much I have time for this show, and I don't have much time. I haven't had much time lately for anything else. Like and even like I've been even out a lot of times. Like when this show has been starting stuff. So I've been really having to like schedule my time as carefully as possible, especially with my horrible ability to not sleep properly. Like I slept really well the night before, and then last night I slept like I did barely sleep. I slept like an hour last night.
Part of that is like self-care. I was thinking about burnout the other day. That like you seem headed towards some kind of burnout if you don't.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'm trying really hard to perform self-care best I can. It's just like but it's just like a lot's going on in life. It's just one of those
Stress.
we're just kind of on the verge of everything being really okay, but right now everything is precarious because we haven't gotten word yet about Lindsay's disability thing or anything like that, and we're just waiting. We call that line every day to see what, and every day it says like they just still haven't made a decision. So it's just like what's taking them so long and shit like that.
It's a slow process. It's nothing. It's nothing in particular. It's just the bureaucracy itself. The wheels grind slowly.
Yeah, it is totally that. I mean, and like that's what the lawyer said too.
And I understand that state of like that precarity and the unknown. It's a very anxious place to be.
It's a very anxious, and I'm already a very anxious person. So like I've been in a state of high anxiety, and my even with my blood pressure medication, everything. I think my blood pressure must be.
Speaking of will and agency, are you taking conscious steps to like maximize your chances of having it go the way you're trying to make it go?
Yeah, I mean, I've got my personal Lindsay's she's gone through everything. It's like she doesn't have anything left. She's just have to judge as just left. I have my thing upcoming in a few days at the 27th. And then in terms of like self-care type stuff, I mean, I was doing like last night actually. I was feeling a lot better, and I still feeling better. I'd feel better today if I'd actually been able to sleep last night, but I couldn't sleep all night. I just
we get
lay
plenty
there.
of high quality panelers. Thank you very much. I'm very proud of our.
Lol, that's such a wow. So you're the high quality paneler, Cult of Culture. Damn.
And one thing I have learned doing this live streaming thing, you learn to embrace your trolls. You don't like.
Until they become abusive.
Fight them on their own terms. You're not going to win a battle against the trolls if you try to just think you're going to do it your way. And so that's what we do around here. We have our
Oh,
controls that we
I
We
don't
might
think he
be
was.
doing a.
He wasn't trying to misinterpret what you're saying, Colt. I mean, why don't you come on up, Colt? I mean, Dennis didn't even say
yeah,
anything.
come add some quality
No,
to
I
this.
mean, because I really did like your comments that you were saying earlier. Whenever we were talking about the free will thing, I really did say that I really do like a lot of the things you were saying. I agreed with a lot of
I
what you were
agreed
saying.
with you actually on the
Yeah.
free will stuff. What
So like,
lady?
I really.
Absolutely.
Well, some people are gonna have
Nobody's
negative
gonna
attitudes.
believe
He
That's
has
okay.
to be
Nobody's
talking
going to
about the
believe.
one who sarcastically criticized him.
I
He's
mean,
obviously not
yes.
talking about the other lady on the panel.
I
But
know, but
sorry,
still, I'm
if
just saying that's okay though. I'm just saying like I don't necessarily agree that her
What
attitude is
lady?
being
who's
negative
a
either.
Did
hater?
I miss
So
something? I'm
Who?
so
usually
saturated in
hypersensitive.
his own personal experience that like any other perspective is immediately an attack
Who's
on the
the
very
hater?
foundation of his whole personality.
Who are you talking about?
so
Cult.
because I'm
The cult of
saying that
culture.
Culture.
because I'm saying that the cult of culture basically just talked down on the entire panel
Right.
because some panelists will not come up because they are high quality and they will not be caught on a panel who are obviously panel trolls or whatever. I'm now all of a sudden negative. I am.
Yeah,
Oh,
And
audio,
William,
audio.
you have a lot of
I-
feedback. Your phone is too close to your device, I think.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think it might be Angeline. You move your
Yeah,
cell phone
it's
away from your computer.
I'm the
Angeline.
bottom of the barrel, so everybody's
I don't
above
know.
me.
Tomorrow night we might be doing a panel again. The thing linkage VLT or whatever. If you want to come
well,
dance
Colt,
again.
this and we've had this conversation before. This might not be the panel for you. This is just a certain style of panel. If
Yeah,
you're looking
and
for
there's the gaslighting too. That
real
wasn't
nice,
her negative
they're out
interpretation.
there.
It was
This
obviously
might
what
not
you were
be the one.
implying.
My opinion is not negative or positive. It's just my opinion.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
deal with it or you can just let it go. It's not
It's
like
it's his negative opinion that I'm a troll.
right. And now
And
I'm trolling because
it's his
I
choice how to
I
react to
kind of
that.
think that is
So
kind
he's
of
literally projecting his negative outlook
right.
You
on
can't fault
others.
him if he's not in control of his reaction. You should be
But
more
he
compassionate and
isn't
understanding.
because
How am I not
whenever
compassionate? Who said I wasn't
this is
compassionate? I understand exactly what he's doing. I'm describing it out loud.
this is the problem with someone who basically sees themselves as a better fucking panelist. They will not understand when someone is not agreeing with them and will then claim that they are negative and everything is wrong with them, not with the person making the claim. No, it's all the other person, all subjective reality and finger pointing.
I wish
Which
Not
is fine.
not
If you
for
want
him.
people to
He's
call me negative,
correct.
I don't give a fuck. I don't
I
give a
wish
fuck.
I
If you
wish
think
we
that
had
I'm
flow
negative.
states little clip, like the little clip of the guy shooting
I
the other
know.
guy, like saying like
We need to get some going.
one less
reason
negative
I
person in the
don't
world
think he's
thing.
trolling Colt is because there's an entire live stream of him and Steve, Jarrett Jordan, and me and Chris having the same conversation.
Bro,
Yeah.
He's very
there are
consistent in the things
there
he's
are
saying. He
100
would say
live
on that
streams.
stream.
There are hundreds of live streams of me doing this for decades before he even learned how to get on the internet. He doesn't know what he's talking about,
Damn, how
but
old are you,
he's so certain of it, and that's what I find fascinating.
How old are you, Dennis? If there's been decades of it.
I'm in my early 40s, and I've been on the internet since I was around 10.
You haven't been a live. I
Are
mean,
you a
live
millennial?
like open panelverse hasn't
AOL.
existed that long.
Panelverse, no, but you
Did
know,
you have an AOL account at 10?
He's
I
like
did,
13
yeah.
I did.
going on
I did.
600.
I had a few different accounts when I was 10, but AOL
I
was
had
one
a
of them.
I had an
BBS
AOL.
account.
A what
Oh,
account?
did you?
BBS before AOL. It was
JC.
Returns.
Oh,
Return of the
BBS
Hank.
was a bulletin
Hey,
board.
Tennyson,
He's been
I think you may
summoned
need
from
a
the
reality
void.
check.
Say what, bro?
You may need a reality check.
Yeah, I'm sure. Are
I'm
you going to
sure
be the
you
one
do.
who's going to give it to me?
Well, Joe,
Absolutely.
if you feel overdressed,
All
then
right, I'm ready.
just take off the shirt, man. Just pop it open, you know, and just like, come on.
You're not as
Robe-
clever and funny as you think you are,
Robe and
Tennyson.
slippers thing.
Oh, I think I'm
A bi-
stupid. So
Yeah,
we should make that clear.
Yeah, you're overestimating yourself.
BBS was the original Reddit back in the day when all you
Yeah,
could do was
the
type
bulletin board
Yeah.
system.
It
Yeah,
to
was
like
the
one
the
nerd. It
another.
was the
Yeah.
really geeky computer nerds talking to each
yeah
other.
BBS,
Nobody else.
systems. I mean, like they still exist this day. By the way, like you can
Yeah.
there are still BBS systems that still exist to this day. Like that's actually where
And then
a
and
lot of
then
the
came
piracy and stuff comes out of.
IRC and
Yeah,
AOL and all that.
Yeah, they're mailing this
Merc.
now, Chris. Pretty
yeah.
much.
Not that I know anything
I
about
I
computers
used to
or
be
internet.
I used to be on some of those on some of those what are they're like the
Bulletin boards.
like the bulletin boards, like the alt bulletin boards and stuff like that. It's kind of like what 4chan ultimately turned into, like, but that's where still to this day it's where a lot of like piracy and stuff comes from. A lot of the pirate groups, they distribute their stuff through bulletin board service style stuff, and then
I
it
Now
makes it
right
to
now they
torrent type.
use what's it called? They use what's it called?
torrent.
No, well, they use torrent to transfer, but to organize it, they use Matrix. Yeah, I think it's called Matrix to organize
I
it.
haven't heard of that one.
Let me check
Yeah,
it.
I haven't heard Matrix, but I mean, but it doesn't surprise me if they've changed the terminology.
Element.
Element.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I didn't know that. That's interesting. What's my wrap up about you wanking and thinking and bending over homies, ladies over a spanking, never thinking about nothing, just do
What?
that shit because Joe will never. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, dude, but like whatever.
He got a hold of
He
some
he
bad
did
dope.
joke. Well, he did.
Cold.
He
The
got a hold of
panel
some
is
bad
what it
dope.
is.
But I can't
how
argue with that
most of us
because
here like it. If you
I
don't
can
like
be
it,
more
go
stupid
find
than
another
stupid.
panel. I don't know what to tell you.
It is a possibility.
I know what to tell you.
I could agree
Tell them to
with
start your
that.
own panel. If you don't like the panel, start your own.
Yeah.
Who's
Or
saying
come
that
up
he
here and
doesn't like
change it.
the
If you don't
panel?
like what, come up here
Colt
and make
is
it go in
saying,
the
It's
direction.
open.
and
We'll let
he's
you
he's
come on
not
and
being
talk.
honest. He's upset right now. He's trying to direct he's feeling a certain type of way, and he wants me to feel that way. So
He's
now
in
the
his
panel's
feelings.
ruined because I'm up here and I'm a low
I
quality
like
panelist,
Colt
and I've
personally. I
ruined
really
the whole
do.
panel.
Yeah,
Now
I do
he's
too.
not being honest.
I just think it's I just think it's weird. Like everybody on this panel more or less agrees with the things he was saying about the discussion we were having. So he would be on a panel with people that are on his side. So like,
Well, he's not upset with you though. I upset him by
I
challenging
know.
his
He would
I
dogmatic
know,
rather
but I'm
beliefs
saying
about free
he's
will.
more
He's
people than not
responsible.
are
You
on
and
his
the
side.
hate,
So like,
He's
you and the
upset.
hater lady.
My
he has a
opinions
problem
upset a
with.
lot of people.
I'm a hater, definitely. I'm
Yeah, you're
fucking
the
negative.
yeah.
Right, because she
Oh, you
called him out for his bullshit by saying the panel's ruined because I came up. So she called him out for that, so now he doesn't like her either.
what kind of vape you vaping on?
I am
Duchess?
just vaping on pure nicotine, basically. I think it's tobacco, actually.
It's a tobacco one.
Yeah, it's tobacco, just a normal one. I
Nothing
don't
wrong
like
with that.
I never could do anything, but the only ones I could ever do were like a really clean menthol or mint.
Yeah,
Like, type
I
thing.
don't like the flavors. I had one, I think it was peach or mango, and that one I actually liked. But
Moose.
other than that, it's
Moose.
What'd you say about bad dope, Chuck?
I said Moose must have got a hold of some bad dope today. The way he's typing.
Or some good.
No, I'm just working on my
Really
new rap career. Shit. I figure if these little kids could do it, I could do it too.
Rap is
Wait,
crap.
hold on. Is
Oh.
that the
Well, I
Moose,
mean,
the guy?
I did rap for a while, and I can't say it worked out that well for me.
Is it
Okay,
the
Colt.
same guy?
talked to
We're gonna
Moose
nip this
before?
right here. If they're
Yeah,
trouble,
I
why are
promote
you
Moose's
hanging out
channel
here?
in my
Why are you
Discord.
exposing yourself to this source of trouble?
We've
Two
been on
sources of
panel
trouble.
with Moose, right?
You have
Yeah,
the will
a
and
couple of times,
agency
yeah.
to control how much that's gonna affect you today.
Funny
Or
Yeah,
enough,
I mean,
trap
me
here
and Dennis
forever.
came
Clearly not. Right now, I have far more agency over his behavior than he does. I mean, that's clear.
Well,
No, he's no
that's
control.
making your point more than
I'm
anything.
puppeteering him. He's trapped here forever.
He's
Yeah,
even
he's
accusing me
turning
of it
tab.
and not realizing the irony in it, right? Because if I
Yeah.
were a troll, the whole point would be for me to come in here and elicit some response from that fucking guy, right? And that's essentially what he's accusing me of because I am doing that. However, that's not the intention, which is why I'm not a troll. The intention was
Right.
merely to describe to you what I think about free will based upon the
Right.
available evidence.
So yeah,
Okay.
so that guy's trapped here forever. He can't just hit the X on his tab or something. So
This is the right thing to do.
You're right.
This,
He's
to me,
trapped here
this
for.
is the adult, responsible thing to do. Change the channel.
Wait, hold on. So Hank
Yes, if
doesn't
any
like
ideas
Genesis.
challenge your beliefs and make you upset, don't listen to them.
I mean, I don't think that for me, I don't give a fuck if you're here or not, because if I like this panel, I will definitely be here more often. So I guess that's a loss for you then. I
Right.
don't know what to tell you.
And I hope you are.
What
I
to
hope
tell ya?
there is anybody that comes to panel and in good faith and tries to contribute and tries to actually add to the conversation. I encourage them to come as much as they possibly want to. But to show up every day. As soon as it starts, stay on the whole time. I say come be another
Well,
co-host. I don't care.
I would argue right now that there is one troll at the moment, and that's the one in chat telling you guys that they will not be back
busted.
because some people are on panel they don't like. So
Oh yeah, I he kind of reminds me of what's his name?
Is that Texas?
The dude's that name starts with an
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
X.
Oh, so you're not going to
Yeah,
Texas? You
he
didn't even
was always
you didn't even stop by to visit. I'm so hurt, Moose.
he was always claiming he was the original X. I can't remember his name. Exiled. That's what that. Yeah, he reminds me of Exiled. I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of those people.
No,
you know?
no,
I
it's not
belong.
No, I don't think so. Joe Cool, get your ass up on panel. Come on.
As far as how I feel about the results,
about
it's disappointing the way you're acting. But I would like for you to come up on the panel and have an actual discussion.
I
don't.
I like both of
Yeah.
you, frankly. And I
me
wish
too.
y'all
I like
could
both
come
of you
up
too.
and
I don't
talk
take
about
it personally. You got to figure I don't believe in free will. I'm the only person on the panel and the only person in the chat who doesn't believe in free will.
Well,
Therefore, you have to imagine what it's like to be me. I'm
that's
used to
not
it.
entirely true. I think free will is completely incoherent as a concept, so I can't
Right.
believe in it if I
She
wanted
she
to.
didn't chime
Right.
in. She's
So there
welcome.
you go.
She
2
was
versus
equal of a participant as everybody else. And when
2
she
versus 10.
contributes, it's not chiming in.
You guys are giving way too much attention.
I think it's interesting.
Why do I have a negative judgment? Just because I don't agree with your assessment on someone doesn't mean that it's negative. It's my opinion. The fact that you base it on either being positive or negative is
Sorry.
something that you need to deal with. It's not my problem. I just gave my opinion. That's it. And it's up to you if you want to do something with it. Apparently, it really fucking bothers you that I have an opinion. I'm sorry. I'm opinionated. And yes, I am a troll. However, right now, I'm not. I'm actually on good behavior. I'm on really good behavior right now.
This is like the troll respite where they come to take a break from the
Kinda.
trolling.
This is like free space. This is like a safe space for me.
And just to be clear, I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at what Joe Cole said in the comments.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you can
Yeah,
laugh.
but I was laughing at Joe Cole's comment. Just like
What's sad is I gotta pay to be here. Oh.
You're not paying me.
Wait a
God,
second.
No,
Who are you paying?
Chris
Who are you paying?
Chris is charging me for panel time.
Oh, am I? Dude, I'm not getting the checks. God damn. I think we need to have a talk about my address then. Like I'll give you my Venmo or something. You must be sitting in the wrong place. I think somebody must have gotten you.
I'm sorry. It's
gonna
this.
wake
Hey,
up with, like,
when I created this, I
700 in his
specifically put in the description. This is an unsafe space.
Now he's
So
the
if you're looking
victim.
for a safe space, you're on the wrong corner.
Think here's the circle of
Victimology.
projection is complete now because he started off calling me a victim.
I am sorry that I took your safe space away, Cult of Culture. And
I'm
at the
not.
same time, I think that you need some kind of help in the form of maybe some cuddle puddle. I don't know.
Just
Find
needs
some.
to take a few deep breaths.
Maybe do a
Ponder
little
the
masturbation
possibility
session.
that you are not the authority on the entire fabric of the universe, and then once you're calm, come up on the panel and just talk to us like we're human beings, and then we'll
I
have a better
changed it
understanding of where we're coming from.
I changed the phrasing recently, but if you go look back at the older streams, it says an unsafe space for neurodivergent, whatever.
Well, don't you got a
Well-
crying room somewhere,
I
Jeff?
have to go put it back
We
in
need
the
a cuddle
description.
puddle for the Cult of Culture. Jeff, I did have
You're-
a question for you because I see you like rocking back and forth. And don't get me wrong. I hope you don't take offense to it. I'm neurodivergent myself. But what kind of neurodivergent do you have? Are you?
I'm all of it. The rocking autism, ADHD, giftedness, all the clusters.
Usually, if I'm rocking back,
2E,
it's my
twice
arm,
exceptional,
and it's, you know.
PDD, NOS.
But why do you rock back and forth? This is like a
I
self-soothing
don't
thing?
notice that I do it at all. So when I'm
No,
doing it,
yeah,
I'm not even aware I'm doing it.
if you can
Stimming.
see it, I have my
Stimming,
fidget
yeah.
cube at the moment. So for me, this is like my self-soothing thing. But
Yeah.
rocking back and
I
forth.
chew these to shreds when I need to.
Dude, I used to do that when I was like in grade school. I chewed so many pens that I had a blue tongue.
I remember those days.
Jeff rocks and then my leg shakes. You can't always see it on camera.
Yes,
my leg
leg
is usually
shaking.
my
That's
my,
what I used
my
to
leg
get.
my leg shakes like all the time. Like I'm always
Yes.
in here just like shaking my
Yes.
leg. So like I mean it's
restless leg.
we're both like we both have like a similar form of I don't know mine's on ADHD, but I mean I'm on the spectrum I'm sure too. But
Smoking
I have
copious
ADHD.
amounts of nicotine. That's the only thing that can make my legs shake less.
Copious
yeah,
amounts of
it stopped
Yeah.
working for me. I need to stop smoking again. I've
Well,
quit
I've
so many times
actually been
before,
thinking
but
about it because I've stopped smoking. Like, well, I still vape, but I've stopped smoking cigarettes like 2 years ago now. I've actually been thinking about it. Maybe that will help, like calm down my anxiety. Oh my god!
What is that? Is
That's
that some little
That's
Harry Potter toy, Chuck?
that's
Yes!
my
I
son's
want
stem
that's your.
toy.
I love it.
It's
oh,
the golden
that is
snake
a
spinner.
really cool fidget spinner. That's a really cool
It
fidget
is
spinner.
really
But
That really
that's
is.
the kind of stuff I can play with
you
all
can
day.
you can put it down, give it a spin, and the thing will stay in one spot. And you can just
That's not a fidget
it.
spinner. That's a bunghole twirler.
A bung
This
hole.
is my son. My son's got
Oh,
autism. He's got all
I
kind
My
like
of
it.
fidget
It's cute.
devices.
I'm ADHD and borderline autistic too. And my purse is just loaded with fidget toys for me and my kids. But like, I have the spinners and the silly putty and the everything, anything magnetic.
Oh,
Everything.
all these seem so
and
normal to me.
then we got this guy. Let's see if I can get him on camera. Watch his eyeballs.
Yeah, that's
I like those.
definitely a bunghole bandit right there.
I like those.
Him
Different
dual
kind
use.
of toy, Moose.
And if you put him in like those computer chairs
If
that
you put him in,
spin,
his eyes will blaze out.
it's like there's a motor on it. He'll make that thing fly in circles while he's sitting
Oh,
in it.
you
And
son
he
will?
does,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've broken
And he
so many.
doesn't do it on purpose. It's just how he wired.
Yeah,
He's got all kind of fidget devices around here.
Sorry, Chuck. I didn't know you were showing us your son's stuff. I thought you were showing us your
Oh,
right
now
drawer closet. You know, that right
here
drawer.
you go. Here you go, Moose. My pink shake weight.
Is
Shake.
that what you hold
Wait.
to help you bend over?
wait, hang on.
I can't bend over.
I know. So you use the
How did the
weights to
commercial go?
help you get over.
The commercial for the shake weight. The one
Yeah,
from
I'm trying to
South
remember
Park?
it now.
That was what
No, the real one was funny
ShamWow
enough.
guy, or
I don't know.
Oh, that's the same guy, the ShamWow person? Is Shake Weight?
I can't
Nah.
remember.
No,
Oh, it's not. It's been
it's
so
not.
long since I've seen it.
Nothing beats the 1991 or 1989 version of the Bust a Nut Corn Nut commercial.
Oh, what?
Bust a nut, grab a bag of corn nuts and bust a nut.
Was this?
Yeah.
Did we grow
I
up in
don't
the same?
remember that
Was
one.
this in Maine?
Can we talk
This
about Mike
fucking
being
guy.
black? Can we
Nah.
talk about
Oh,
Mike
Yeah,
being
God.
black?
Mr.
Of
Joe.
course.
Okay, I just want to let everybody know that we're
This
going to
is
be
our
talking about
reparations for you, Joe.
racism for the rest of the panel
Who
now.
let
Yes.
who let the black man up here? Come
Welcome
on.
to Joe's
I
panel.
did.
Now, for the rest
Why
of the
is
panel,
this
we're going to be
conversation
watching
about
guns
race?
go off, and we're going to be hearing some laughing here and there. And then we're going to hear, hey, calm down, buddy, especially if Jack Talcott's around.
I know race
Oh,
exists because sometimes I feel like I'm blacker than Joe Cool.
Oh shit. Race doesn't exist because I got bad knees.
And then you realize that it was the centimeter side of the
So,
ruler.
Joe, I have a question for you that has been on my mind for a while. When we talk about this stuff.
Yes, 8.5 inches long. Yes, it's
With
true.
Oh my
you in
God.
particular, that's
What?
it.
He asked.
That's
What?
it.
No, he did not ask.
He didn't ask. Oh, I'm sorry. Go
With
ahead.
Yeah.
you, so the
So
stereotype is not
is it
true, is
is
what
it
you're
eight
saying.
and a half inches
So
of beef
with
stick, or
you
are we
in
talking like
particular,
little twig here, or what? We talking
this,
I didn't hear your
salamanders,
question.
or
I was laughing in my head, Jeff.
are we
this is my
talking garden
question.
snake or like venomous
I'll
anaconda?
show you. It's all over the internet.
Bye, Cole. We'll see you next time. Joe, this is what I'm curious about with you in particular. In your situation where you're having these negative encounters with white people and whiteness or whatever,
I'm
how do
having
you
some issues, guys.
know
I'm
it's the
gonna drop out and come back.
blackness?
Be right back.
Hang on. Let me get my question out. How do you know it's the skin color and not you? Your personality, you can be loud sometimes, you draw attention to
Yes.
yourself. How
Yes.
do you filter out what's race
Yeah.
and what's you?
All I have is my discernment, and it's very good because I have such a sense of humor. Most shit, and I'm smart. I shouldn't have said that. But most shit I
Oh
attribute to
Yeah,
no.
other things.
I
Wait, I
I
want to hear.
do.
smart motherfucker. I'll
Most
tell you
shit I
that.
attribute to other things. I take those things into consideration, calculate where this dude come from, all of that shit. I don't use that
Okay.
shit lightly. Uh,
Okay.
uh,
I trust. I believe you. So it's not
People,
just a
but people
chip
do the
you
hard
spread
R in
around. You
front of
do
me.
just
I don't see racist. I don't jump on and say that racist. I don't, there was no intent there. They're not racist. It's
The
so
just
only
when you are
time Joe
experiencing
Cool ever brings
racism.
up race is when it comes to music in the bedroom.
What?
I
What?
don't know what that means.
Because
What does
he's
I
that
don't
have
know.
to
definitely
do with
not going to
anything?
be listening to the white man's country while he's going to town
Do
on
you
someone's
ever
wife.
play Led Zeppelin when you're making love, JC?
You know my woman's white, and no, I don't play no Led Zeppelin rock and roll shit. I do the hip hop R&B shit though. Uh,
Exclusively, huh?
I got a
What is your,
playlist.
other
Yes,
than
I do.
Barry White? What are your top recommendations that get the job
So
done?
I don't want to go there because it'd be embarrassing. All I listen to is like drill music and shit like that.
Hey
Post
Joe,
Oh my
Malone.
what
God.
about
Like color guard?
Drill
would you
music for in the
film
bedroom, Joe Cool?
would you
Really?
film your next production with
I
Drilling
told
for
you I
the
Tom
shouldn't have
drilling.
said it.
McDonald song
What is
while you're going from behind?
What I
I'll produce
still,
that shit. I'll do
uh,
it for you.
you gonna produce what for me? Oh
I
my,
said you got to do it to a Tom McDonald song while you're taking her from behind,
uh,
and
you, you
I'll sell it to the masses for you, Joe.
Smooth.
That's funny. He said, Tom Mack, Jeff, this should interest you because it interests me. Apparently, I'm abrasive or something. Whenever Tom Mack drops a new song, all of my friends, all good people, I get at least half a dozen texts about the new song. One of my white buddies is trying to tell me something.
Does he have a new one?
I haven't got any texts, so I doubt that
Who?
he does.
Hey
Who?
I don't
Joe,
even
we
know
could just
who he
put the
I
is.
sound
think the last
effects
one I
on
saw was the one he did
iTunes,
with
and I'll
Ben
get you a
Shapiro.
#1 Billboard
No,
hit.
no, no. He has a new one. Tom McDonald dropped a new
Oh,
one like 2 weeks ago.
let me
Called
look
The
it up.
Machine, I think. It's a good one, actually.
Nah.
Good song.
I
And
wish
by
we could play him.
I think he gets it right as much as he gets it wrong, or vice versa.
I mean, yeah, sure, but still, lyrical wise and
Oh,
just
the
the fact
machine.
that he's independent, kind of, I'm
E-
infatuated with him.
Even more
Is
than
he
that,
white
I
or
would say
black?
he's a
He
white king.
white.
White.
Even
Well,
more
white
than
Oh,
skin.
that,
We
okay.
don't know what he is
the
inside.
the the topics that
He's
he
Vietnamese.
chooses, I'm all down, and the way he approaches them, I'm down, all down. Who's supposed to agree with everybody all the time? It's not going to happen. But you can't overlook that. It's like Tupac shit. He found a genre and covered it.
Yeah.
Tupac say found a weakness in the rap game and sold it. That's what
And
he
I
did. He
miss the
found
old
something that was missing, and he
I
put it
miss
there.
the old Tom McDonald too, who was kind of on the fence.
I haven't
Yeah, I
listened to
saw
him in
the
a while, I guess.
documentary.
The new Tom McDonald's kind of like you said, he found a niche and he ran with it.
He's trying to be formulaic and shit.
I don't think he's being disingenuous though. I just think
Sticking to the
to
formula.
be, if you're going to be countercultural in this environment, you're gonna be there's a definite slot
Flexible.
there. It's defined.
I've never not been countercultural, so it's easy for me to be countercultural in any environment.
You are the white bread culture guy. What do you mean counterculture?
Yeah, I would say that.
I don't even believe that's
you're cultural.
Me, white bread culture guy.
Yeah,
I don't even believe that.
Culture changed in the last 20 years, Jeff.
Oh, come on! Like Jeff is Cajun as fuck. Cajun is much different than white
He
bread.
is not pagan.
Cajun. He's Cajun.
I'm as marginalized.
He's Cajun as fuck, and like
I
he's
believe
much
it
different
because you're a nice guy, because you're gay, because of your heart, and you're brave with the shit you say. But motherfucker, you know, come on, man.
I'm never been mistaken for a white person. That's a first.
I mean, I'm as white as they come. I'll say that. I mean, I'll own that. But like, Jeff has definitely got his he's got a lot of, that Cajun part of him is very strong influence on his
Jeff looks way
I was talking about his affiliation, affinity towards government and structure and statehood and status.
You bought the narrative that that's whiteness. That's for all colors of people. Like the American system of government has been for all people for a while now. So like to see that as something.
Oh, did I make that jump?
I don't even think it's for white
bread.
I didn't know I made the jump that we were talking about color to government. I hope we'd already made it.
You were thinking of the government stuff, like me liking the government.
Yes, you are the.
I found this yesterday.
I would say that makes you cultural, not countercultural.
Oh, my white bread comment. That must be
counting.
No,
this is counting cultural.
No, but when you think about it, the guy that you see is some white dude in a suit or some bootlicker or something, and that dude's white. I'm aware that every fucking race is full of bootlickers and all of that bullshit, but I'm like, you fit them fucking mold, man. If you buttoned up your shirt and fucking put on a hat,
mainstream,
I think you sold stocks.
Yeah.
There you go, stereotyping.
That's my criticism of a lot of this. Is it seems like very shallow
I'm the worst.
Shows like Sesame Street went out of their way to try to teach you not to do.
I think you have a lot of mainstream thinking and beliefs just from the few weeks I've gotten to know you. That's what I would say.
Mr. Joe Cool does.
And I think I'd be agreeing with that.
I guess one thing I have learned from doing these streams is I'm way more normal and mainstream than I realized that I was.
I think you're absolutely wrong. Not only that, you're like sweet. And no offense,
whoa.
No offense, Chris.
I think he's hitting on you, Jeff.
In a way that you're not. No, I don't mean it that way. I mean, like Jesse, he's got heart like most of us are missing. And Chris, I couldn't even add you in that category.
Did you just compare me to Jesse?
Yeah, you can't fight
back. He said he couldn't include me in that category. So
that's right. I mean, it's
I thought everyone. I thought I was the one that was too nice, but I guess I'm not.
You're a nice guy, but that dude has heart.
Oh,
right? I'm a nice guy, but I don't know. I'll jump you in a heartbeat. Fuck.
Joe's not saving your life, but he'll watch you drown and he'll film it for you.
I'll definitely film it.
Joe will also help you find your will.
In a way, I think cats like this are closer to God too, man. I think Jesse, the cats who are, unless I characterize dude wrong, he'd be quick to forgive and that type of shit. I think guys.
Maybe Joe, look at it from this perspective. Maybe we're selfish. You know what I mean? Because you're strong. Maybe we're weak. Like you could watch somebody die and just walk away cold and just not even care, right? But people like me and Jesse, we wouldn't be able to do that. You're a cold-blooded killer, aren't you, son?
I don't know about that, but there's some truth to that. But I think that just comes with being old and seeing shit happen a lot.
You see enough shit, and you stop getting as affected by it. That's true.
Yes, when I hear racial words and so and so's and the way I talk, I am thinking mostly of descriptors, and the person who I say that black man brings baggage to them. I'm able to fucking wade in them waters and talk, and I don't get bogged down by all the baggage. If a guy tells me he's Trump, I don't immediately think he's anti-Biden or shit like that. You know, I'm a bright guy. I don't get confused by words and magic shit. About that, I was trying to say to Jesse's point, Jeff's point, that I wouldn't be hasteful. I know I judge people quick, bro, but I wouldn't be hasteful to think a motherfuckers are racist. And I've been an activist since I was a kid. I was the kid out there when they were closing stores down with a sign, nobody else but adults. And I'm like, Jules' preferred customers, white people. I got a little sign right around as a kid. Huh?
Were you a Panther?
I got ties. I wasn't, but I got my buddies all word. I was recently, I was gonna say recently, when I started cop watching, it's probably about 4 years ago. I was supposed to go over there and do something with the guy, and my guy, whose gang members got into it with their head of security, and they were trying to kill each other. So that never worked out. But I've had an eye. I've been an activist. I've been written in every major newspaper, even nationwide. I've been voted one of the top 20 activists in the country when I was younger, 20 years old, and we went and did stuff, and we was on 60 Minutes and shit. Point is,
I've never even seen a list of the top 20 activists before. That's crazy. I didn't know they did that.
Point is, I've been around. I've spoken at colleges, had magazines.
Sure, no, I believe you. I just didn't even know they did that. I think
yes,
it's crazy.
yes, but that's still ain't got
life.
to the point. I want you to see that my shit isn't coming from a small point of view. I've seen a lot. Most of my activist things have been with white people. I'm very well aware of the shit they can achieve. Matter of fact, I'm talking too much, but since we just brought it up,
man, some of those white people are just smart, right?
Some of them, just like some, everybody.
Like everybody.
Some of those white people are very bright and articulate.
Yes, I mean everybody. It's hard to articulate. When I did got voted as that top 20, it was during the Freedom Summer '94, and the 3 civil rights workers who were killed. We went there and we met. We had some type of shit. It was covered by all the media and shit. And the lady, the Goodman, I think Andrew Goodman was the guy who was killed. Me and his mom ended up, being really good friends and shit. And they brought all the activists from that era. And I said all that to say this, that all of those people who came in, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, neither here nor there, but all those people who came in were white people. They figured that the black people were so afraid of white people, no matter what a white motherfucker said, they do it. And somebody thought this was smart. And all the young activists, white folks, they went to class, they did this shit, and they came out here bravely, did that shit. Some of them died. White folk have always turned up for our shit.
Yeah, us white folk are pretty awesome. You're right.
Yes, if we're gonna, do that, put a name on it,
I don't really like being called white, to be honest.
Must struggle again.
I mean, I guess I don't like or dislike it. I don't think about the fact that I'm white most of the time, but if someone points it out, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm white. I mean, like, fuck, what am I gonna say? I'm like, I'm my skin color. I'm from Spanish descent, so like my skin color is like porcelain white. Like I kind of glow in certain lighting conditions. So,
for what it's worth, Chris, I've never seen anything racial, and I see it. And I'll keep my mouth shut if I think it is. And I'm voluntarily saying I've never seen that. You'd never even get crossed to that line. What would have put you on my radar would make me think I should see if he's a racist. Even never even tingled that fucking nerve.
That's nice. Nice you think. I mean, I grew up and have hung out. I've been friends with probably more black people in my life than I have white people. So I mean,
I think I'm kind of peach color.
I seriously, I mean, like I had, like I said, like one of the original gangster rappers lived in my house downstairs on my couch for over a year. Supposedly here to make an album, and he never would record it for a verse. And I still let him live here.
That's what it was like back then, bro.
that was like 6 years ago.
Apricot, even.
That's you, Dan. Peach, apricot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really think I'm white, you know? And I don't see a lot of sun. I try not to go out and interact with those
I'm pretty
crazy
white. Look,
You
motherfuckers
say
out
fuck
there.
that
you can actually
sun
see the
shit. That's the
whiteness of my
But
skin.
score.
See the white parts
but
right
I'm
there?
still
They're
not
like
white, you
paper
know?
white.
I'm still kind of beige, opaque.
He's beige.
I'm about as pale as they get. I got a lot of
Angeline,
Scottish in me though too, and I'm just found out I'm severely anemic right now, which probably doesn't
Well,
help
what
either.
If it's not Scottish, it's crap.
I'm trying to understand Tupelo's comment because, first of all, like I'm a bad example because I never did think of myself as white. But like, are you saying black people have to factor in their blackness every like they think of they're
yes, it's
conscious of having this thing called, and white people are just the default norm, so they don't have any
yes. You think it's
particular.
normal? Yes, you know, and there's something to be said about that. And it's, for instance, this is probably a bad example, but you walk into it's an old example, so it's bad. A woman walks in to get what is called the thing stockings, and the color was nude. I don't even know if people still wear stockings, but that's just an example of how and that's normal. A white person would never
Wait,
think
what?
of it.
Wait, what?
When you
I'm
go
trying to
get,
grasp the stocking example.
I'm
Like
sorry, it might be
it
bad, but when
seems
you in the
like not.
stores when white women go to get stockings, the color they get is called nude,
Yeah.
meaning to the world it's normal. It matches white people's skin color. This is just what
Are you
nude
saying
is.
black people are being traumatized by having nude be the name of the color for white women because it
I
makes it
wasn't
seem like their color of skin is normal?
I wasn't
I
making
think
that leap. I was
I
just
think a
Oh,
making the
better
point that there are a lot of things that
I would.
should show that white people are oblivious
I think
in comparison.
a
I'd
better
but
make
way of
how
that leap.
actually
fragile do
I
you
looking
think
have
at
that's a
it,
step, not a leap.
Joe Cool.
internalize some message off of a pantyhose container?
Joe,
Again, I'm
there are
not
not a lot of
small. I
people
wouldn't
that
just
are
do it
still
off of one
using
pantyhose
stockings.
hose thing. Go. I'm so sorry for cutting you off 3 times.
No, it's okay. But like a better way of looking at it, like right now, a lot of makeup brands actually they didn't carry a lot of
Good
ranges
point.
of skin colors,
Yeah,
and
good. I've heard about that.
they actually started this new revolution since like a couple of years ago or something, that
Yeah,
they started carrying more different skin tones
yeah,
for also the darker skin girls, that kind of
yes,
stuff. I don't
yes,
think that a lot of people actually wear stockings unless it's either for in the bedroom, or it's because they have to wear it for their work, like
yes. I get you.
stewardess or something. But
Uh, yeah,
yeah,
I get
These
you. All
are
right,
coming.
thank you for both of
you're
those.
you're
Yeah,
I
showing your
do think
age,
it's kind
Joe.
of messed up that
yeah, I
when you go
am.
to the
You
adult
read
toy
my
store,
mind.
you go to the adult toy store, right? And you see like the white man's junk is like 8 inches, right? And then you look over to the left, and it's like here's the African Americans, it's like the size of your leg, right?
Right.
Not what Joe
And
said.
you're just like,
I hear a lot of penis envy from Moose. Am I the only
Oh,
one who's hearing this?
See, see.
oh, it's
Winterwords,
not envy
I think I see
at
mostly
all.
like
It's
ones that
just
are like colored like pink and purple and shit like that. So
me
what
and
does that
Joe
even
know
imply?
each other, and
purple.
you know he's thrown out some comments to me that he's gonna slip one on my wife. So I'm always trying
I've
to
done
find
that to
out how big he is.
everybody.
What's
I famously got in trouble for saying something about Angeline. Tell Angeline I'll be over there in a minute. I got jumped for that. I say that. Fucking what is his name? Uncle Fatty. I tell him as soon as he leaves to go on panel, I'm gonna go in the back door to see his wife. I crack that joke on everybody. I don't remember
you
cracking
think
it
that
on you.
contributes to people's negative perception of you?
I think that falls under fuck them if they can't take a joke
Right. That's
shit,
what I was.
and
Yeah.
and then
That's what.
it helps betters
I
people.
agree.
And yeah. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, it's a silly joke. It's not like I don't think like it's a lot different if like you could if you
The funny
if
thing is, Chris, is the reason
mm,
why Joe Cool's always laughing after he says a joke like that
mm.
isn't because he's joking. It's because he really would do it.
hey Moose, if you're curious, 56 years old and I've never cheated in my life. True story. If you're curious.
No, he never cheated. He always respectfully introduced himself.
I mean, I'd break up with you. I wouldn't cheat on you, motherfucker. If it's over, it's over, and then I'd move on. But I've never even tried. I've never booked a hotel and backed out. I've never even
Damn, Joe Cool is
marriages have you
monogamous.
ended though? I think that's
Holy
that's the
shit.
point. How many
Now,
marriages
whether
have you
you're a
ended, though?
Christian, now I understand that God shit. Christ.
And where's your
That's a heathen.
clothes? You look fully clothed to me right now. Is that a marijuana leaf hanging?
I'm completely naked right
That
now.
is somebody in the
plastic-
community made that for me.
I was
Oh.
expecting some kind of interrogation when I came up on the panel, so I stripped myself of all my clothes so that I could be the physical embodiment of my own humiliation.
We've been waiting for you to come up. You see how
Like,
the white men are
nothing between me and the truth, completely naked, so to
What's
speak.
up, Jesse?
I mean,
all I see is Tim Robbins. So
I
all
want
I
to
see is
read right
like.
now. Citation needed.
Well, I mean, if you assume what I'm saying is true and I cam up, it'll end the stream. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Did you choose that because you came up to redeem yourself? Because the Shawshank Redemption. Sorry,
I came up because
regret
that's
that
how it is. How I was feeling in the moment, right?
Well, you
like
wanted
in the
to
back
talk
of my
about-
head, I was hearing, and the colossal prick even managed to seem magnanimous. That was ringing in the back of my head, and that. So that you say that there is some truth to what you just said.
well, for what it's worth, even when you were in the comments arguing with us, I never thought of you as being a huge prick or anything like that. I just thought that you were being...
You and I always get along, even though we think differently. We're able to share our perspectives.
He thought about
That's
it.
man
Man.
shit.
He thought about
Normal
throwing that thing
people-
right on the camera.
What's that now, Moose?
He already had that thing whipped out.
Oh, you already had it whipped out. Okay. So, but Moose, I mean, like, so you went through Texas. You didn't call. You didn't write. I mean, like,
Well, if he's in Oklahoma, he only went through the.
Are you in Texas, Chris?
Yeah, I live in Texas. I've never made a
Oh,
secret.
shit.
I live in the Dallas area.
Why are you in Texas?
I would have
too?
guessed Northeast. I did live in Texas at one time.
There's so many millions of people that live here. It's not like doxing myself. Like, yeah, I live in Irving, Texas. I mean, there's like a million people that live just in this town alone. I'm not that easy.
If someone went to your neighborhood and said, "Hey, do y'all know where that weird guy that walks around with the hat and the chain, whatever, and described you," you'd probably stand out.
I doubt it. I doubt it. I don't think most. I mean, most of my neighbors.
You know what? If they
really
would have
racist.
said the guy and that girl with that
most of my neighbors are Mexican. They don't pay attention to
with
me.
the bright blue eyes that's always on the YouTube. Do you know where they live? I bet you that somebody could know.
For my baby from Juniper, Juniper, that Juniper would probably get recognition, but but in me, like, no, most of my Mexican neighbors, they
I
don't
bet
pay
I
attention
could
to me.
find you. If someone dropped me off in Irving, Texas, I bet just a verbal description of you, I could locate you eventually from just the people you
Damn, I think that would be difficult. I think you would have a hard time. But Irving is a lot bigger than you think.
In a smaller town, I'm sure you could do it. He stands out a bit.
Irving's a lot bigger than you think it is, and there's a lot of places that I don't go out into a lot, and like there's not a lot of people that know my name or anything around here. So yeah, it'd be kind of difficult.
If you say a million,
I know
people,
what liquor store you go to.
Oh, there's more than 1 million people. It's a 2 million.
It's probably 1,000 different places just to enter the fucking town. It's just
Yeah, I mean it's just part of the DFW area anyway. I mean, like the differentiation between like there's a part of Irving that's called Los Colinas that's just like the more upper end of it, the more upper class part of it, but it's still part of Irving, and a lot of people wouldn't even know. So if you could be dropped off in Irving and you could be like Mr. in Los Colinas and you wouldn't even know it. I mean, like it's not even like, I mean, Los Colinas it has its own police force, but it's not its own city. So it's like,
there are many towns out here where I absolutely believe that's true. I could just find a person off their internet presence. But the big cities I've been in, oh my God, I wouldn't stand a fucking chance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would hope you could, Jeff. I mean, I would like to think if you got stranded here, you could find me. I would like to. I would think that you got stranded, you could find me, and I'd be able to help you out. But unless you called me on the phone, you probably wouldn't.
No, I
mean,
would just show up at your
it's
door
pretty.
with the stream running, saying, "Hey, surprise!"
That'd be awesome, dude. If you could do that, I would just be like, oh my god, you're like that's amazing. You're like you're a wizard,
like
dude.
Ed McMahon showed up at your door.
Yeah,
Now I'm
I would.
thinking,
I
Jeff.
would be completely. But I'd give you my address. I've given you my address before,
Wait,
so it's not like
even
it'd be that
without
hard.
giving them the address. Oh, too late. I was gonna say,
Hey,
even
can
without
you send
it,
me Chris's
he could
address? I want to send him a bag of dicks from Amazon.
he could play
I'll
detective.
send you my address, motherfucker.
I'm gonna sell him
You
some dirty
don't need to
underwear.
ask Jeff. You don't need to ask Jeff. You just ask me. I'll give you my address. You can send me that bag of dicks directly. Okay.
And some dirty
Cut out
underwear.
the middleman.
I don't give a fuck. I 100% believe, like, if someone really wants to find me, if they want to like dox me or whatever like that, they could do it if they really
Nobody's
wanted to.
gonna
I'm
do
like,
that.
I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I'm an open book. Yeah, people can find me if they want to. Like,
I've been
I use my
doxxed
I've
20
used I've had
times
my
in a
real
day
name.
sometime.
I've had my real name on stream. Like when we started the show, even I didn't used to put Sadir. I used to put Flame Chris Slater. I used to put that up there, and like it doesn't bother me. I don't give a shit.
We ordered
People can find me if they want to.
time for a what do you call it, a party? You know,
I mean, bags of dicks are expensive. That's an expensive gift. You know, that's like, you know, you gotta that's a little sacrifice involved in
like
that.
$30.
So I wouldn't be insulted by that. You know,
Miss me with that. I'd be insulted. Miss me with that. I'd be insulted. Fucking
Joe,
prick.
some
Whoever
of my
did it,
best
I'd be
friends
like,
I've insulted
prick.
more than you know. Like, you know what I mean? You go deep, and then the next thing you know, you
You gotta go deeper the next time.
I love that the run the jewel song that's got it starts out like imagine this, I'm a bag of dicks, put me to your lips. That's one of the best opening lines to a song of all time.
Man, that's just okay.
Imagine this, I'm a bag of dicks, put me to your lips.
When you motherfuckers gonna unite and kill the police.
Frank, wait, what? Did you just say something about killing the police? What?
Yeah, that's in there too, man.
On
it's
this
about
entertainment stream.
On this
It's a lyric from Run the Jewels song, DJ Shadow. It's called Nobody Speak. It's called Nobody Speak. It's a badass track, and the first line of it is, imagine this, I'm a bag of dicks, put me to your lips. So that's the first line of it. So
it's hard.
We don't get copyrighted.
He's not that.
What does a bag of dicks look like? Is it like a bunch of dicks
know it is
ground up and then put in a bag?
It looks like a bunch
is
of
it like a
bears that look like dicks, Denizen?
Actually, I bet that's right.
Yeah.
No, it is right. I paid for it. I paid for
Yeah, there's a website and everything.
A bag of dicks.
Amazon. You can get it on Amazon, bro.
Is it the jelly bean dicks?
Nah.
Yeah,
they're,
gummies.
Gummy worms.
Yeah. Jelly beans.
Gummies. Yeah.
Not gummies, not jelly
strawberry
beans.
flavor or whatever.
Well, they call them jelly, but they're gummies.
All right.
Jelly beans have like
I got some gummies clearance
they
at
have
the
a
gas
hard
station
crust
the other
on
day
them.
that were like they were supposed to be shaped like top hats. They look like dicks too. So I mean, like, you know, you can find lots of gummy shaped dick shaped gummies.
I tried to get cream filled ones, but they didn't come with them.
Usually that's a sign that the stream is.
Angelina wants nothing to do with this conversation.
We did just hit 3 hours, so we hit 3 hours. That's usually about like
you
the
know
length
what it
of
is.
it.
I think you guys are just giving up too early. I think you take the easy L. You're like, all right, we're done. Pack it up. Let's wrap this shit up. We've been going for 2 hours. I'm going home early. We got 20 more minutes.
We can keep going.
I'm kind of watching what the topics are doing, and when they start to stray like this into this territory, it usually happens about the time that people start wrapping up.
Only white people are racist, and there's no such thing as free will. Go.
There is free will.
Yeah, Jesse was here for like half a minute.
Racist. It's a form of tribalism.
Yeah.
There.
The free will shit. I agree with you, but me and Dennison has spent countless hours arguing this point. He has a good argument. Obviously,
was there anything fresh and original? in the argument?
The fact that in the way he looks at it, you are a result of all things, so it's hard to get around
Yeah,
that.
but that is explains everything up to the point you make the choice. But when you're making the actual choice, it's
All right.
still with an amount of
completely and utterly reliant upon all of those things, including those
reliant
faculties.
on doesn't mean identical.
It's
with.
literally program in and output out. Literally, you are a bio machine.
No, I'm not
and
only
out.
a bio machine. That may be like part of me, or
you believe in a divine spark. I see no evidence for it.
I didn't say anything about divine spark.
Hey,
Well, it must be at this point. If you're not a bio machine, then you're emergent from it.
It sounds more like you believe in a divine spark because you believe in something that actually programs and animates you that's beyond your own free will.
No, because there's not a thing. The thing isn't necessary.
Yeah, you can be a victim of circumstances, what his accusation is.
You don't have to be a victim, though.
A victim might have been a reed in the wind.
If you accept, once you accept the truth that you are a result of your circumstances, it's empowering. It's the opposite of being.
Yeah, it's still a victim of your circumstance. You can't change shit.
I think that's empowering, though. Seriously,
Well, people always change.
Wait, I want to hear Moose's take.
You're the perpetrator of your own consequences. Everything you do, everything that happens to you is your own fault.
We're not according to Dennis.
The opposite,
I don't think
though, it's not your fault.
I don't see how what he said is exclusive from what I said.
Our liberation in
I don't understand how they're not
being aware of that.
That's where I get confused.
What you're doing is you're packing a whole lot of stuff there's no evidence for into the I, me, you part of the equation.
It's your own fault.
There's agency in there.
Yeah,
there's will.
You haven't convinced me that I don't have agency. You haven't argued it away.
No, I would never try to convince you that you don't have agency.
Well, you did all day in the comment. Like there's a whole record.
No, I wasn't trying to convince you of shit. Are you kidding me? I had this conversation with you over a week ago. There's no convincing you to let go of your fucking religious belief and free will. I was merely describing what I believe in the chat. I had no intention of thinking it was going to fucking change your mind.
It seemed like a exchange or a dialogue trying to persuade me of your view, but I could be mistaken.
I
think that's what it feels like when you're really, really beholden upon your belief in free will. Anything that challenges it feels like an attack.
It didn't feel like an attack because I didn't take it seriously because it didn't rise to the level of a truth claim that I could take seriously because you didn't provide enough evidence for it. So
no, I wasn't making it a truth claim.
I didn't have anything to feel threatened or attacked by because it wasn't fully formed.
I think you feel threatened by the fact that you cannot provide any evidence for it.
Feel threatened. So if you think I feel threatened, you are walking around with a false belief. That's not
I disagree. I think your reactions at the time demonstrate that
I have agency and free will, and I use it every day. And the fact that you don't think that exists does not threaten or impinge on that in any way for me. I just want to.
It seemed to. It definitely seemed to.
It does.
You seem to have a clear emotional reaction to it.
No, you might be projecting your own sense of like the power you actually have.
It's certainly possible. It's certainly possible, but my assessment, watching you change the way you discuss the topic, it definitely gave me the impression. And then if we're gonna go in the people in the chat who literally rage quit said this was no longer a safe space and are not on the stream anymore, I'll definitely say you weren't being that emotional, right? But on that gradient scale of freaking the fuck out and rage quitting the stream over it, and you just being at your total default, I recognized an emotional attachment to free will from you, sir.
Well articulated.
I don't have an emotional attachment to it. I don't see a way around it. I don't even think free will is it's not even necessarily empowering. It can be disempowering in many ways, but at the same time, I see it as a de facto fact of life that we are responsible for our own decisions and our own actions. And if you see it if like looking at any other way, I find it. I don't see a way around it. I don't think free will is something that you can argue your way out of. I think it's a
how
way
do artists make art? Are they just like is Shakespeare and Mozart? Were they just like channeling
Free will, accountability, and responsibility.
Creativity.
Free will, accountability, and responsibility are not dependent on one another. You can describe a philosophy in which they are, but logically they're not dependent on one another. So you can have all those things or not all of those things or any combination of with and without those things. But I'm interested. You say that you believe that free will in some ways can be unempowering. That seems to be contrast to the way you described it earlier. So I'm interested. How is free will to you? How would you see it as a
empowering
hindrance?
in some ways, but in some ways it can be disempowering, just in the sense that you're always responsible for everything you do. So, like you know, if you make a bad decision, then you are responsible for that bad decision, and you have to accept the
Can't
consequences
blame
for it.
nobody else.
And then
you might have
can't
to
blame anybody
believe.
else.
If you're conflating the two, then you might have to believe that. But your ability to respond to something isn't necessarily attached to the choices that you make. The consequences that may come of your choices and your ability to be responsible for them are not connected to one another.
How?
You can choose to do anything that you're not ready to suffer the consequences of.
Explain how those things aren't connected. Explain how those
I
things
never
aren't
said
connected.
nobody chooses anything. I said that the agency of the freedom and the will that you exert with your choices is a projection. That's what I said. Not that choices don't occur.
You just said that those things weren't connected. How are they not connected?
You deny even exist, and now there is this thing we assert.
Your ability to respond to something is not determined by or necessary for you to make a choice.
How?
I'm just surprised to hear you think that we can make a choice at all.
Are you able to respond to everything?
So I'm just confused. Maybe it's just.
Are you able to respond to everything? Are you responsible for everything?
Yes.
Are you responsible for everything?
Even the lack of a response is a response.
Are you responsible for everything that occurs?
Of course not. Continue.
No, of course not. There are certain circumstantial things.
So what makes you responsible?
You're responsible for the choices that you make.
That would have been my answer.
How?
Yeah, like consequences ensue.
Show me.
For decision you make. So
this again.
Decision, things happen that happened because you made that decision. That would not have happened had you not made that decision.
But things happen. But that's not a reason. That's not mutually. Sorry to cut you off, but that's not mutually exclusive. You can respond if Joe makes a choice. If Joe, I really don't want to have to yell in order just to say a sentence. If Joe makes a choice, I can respond to that. I can be able to clean up his mess. I can be able to influence his choices in the future. I can make it worse. I can make it better. If he does something wrong, I can fix that wrong.
How?
To put it in moral terms.
I hear what you're saying, but I don't know if you have a responsibility in the sense that we're using it. If you make a choice,
let's assume I have.
Hold on. Let's assume you have it when you make your choice, and your choice was to not pick up your kid from school, and a lot of crappy stuff fell behind it. You may not have to take action. You can let the kid stay at the police station or whatever, but isn't that responsibility? And the things that followed are your. I don't want to use the word responsibility again. You did that. You agree with that? You caused those things.
I didn't follow your train of thought.
You didn't. I'm sorry. You didn't pick up your kid from school. He went to the police station, had to get picked up. They're calling you and all of that shit on the phone. They're ready to kick you off for the fucking school program. Was that your fault that you caused those things?
Yeah.
No, I didn't cause them.
Yeah.
I'm not the initial cause. The phone call's happening before whether I have something to do with it or not. Am I involved in the outcome?
I think that's what we're saying responsibility is. We may have different definitions. I think we're saying that we feel a burden. I'll speak for me. I feel a burden like I did cause that. Therefore, it's my responsibility. And then my free will comes to what will I do to clean up my mess? I think that's just the normal way of thinking.
It's just the state of being responsible. Anyone could be responsible for anything.
Your mic got weak for some reason.
Yeah, it's a piece of shit. It does
there
that.
You go. It's back. It's back.
Anyone could be responsible for anything. But the assertion is that you have to you're not responsible for everything, but you have to be responsible for the choices that you make.
Yeah, I go for that.
Right.
Right.
And that's
So
what I call
even
free
if
will.
so
you
even
don't
if
have to
call free will.
respond to the choices you make, if that's your point, you are right.
well, sometimes you
don't
might
have to.
even be able to respond.
Yes.
Right.
You may have made a choice that's way above your fucking pay grade, and you stepped into some shit that's way over your head to deal with.
Yes. So you are not able. You're not able to respond. If that was your argument,
Right.
I agree.
If we're just talking about the state of accountability, that can exist with or without free will.
But in certain circumstances, when you have made a choice that directly affects things, you are responsible for your actions.
Prove it.
Yeah, you're going to go into this wordplay thing again.
The legal system says I don't have to prove it. We live in an entire legal system that works exactly that way.
So if someone else who's not you forces you to be accountable for something, and we both know how that works for people of a certain, income level and political power.
Yeah.
Again, where's the agency, and how is that an objectively logical statement? It's subjective. Sometimes you're held accountable by other people for shit.
Isn't the agency
you can
and the
comply,
response?
you can resist, and then there's a set of consequences for each choice, each one of those choices.
I agree that choices exist and consequences exist.
Is there agency in the response, Dennison? Is there? I'm using my agency to respond.
I don't believe that agency exists.
Meaning that I am a robot and I am doing what my mind thinks must be done. I am not really using free will.
No, because a robot's programmed by somebody else.
So what do you think? I don't want to put words in your mouth. Are you saying
does AI have
like the frog, the electric?
Well, your experience does.
Signal and you.
That's what I'm saying.
There's not a who. It doesn't need to be a who.
Stimulus and response.
I didn't really do anything.
Everything is stimulus and response.
No,
all my experiences led up to where I was definitely going to get the credit card out and go bail.
No, because that's a predeterminism that I don't subscribe to. And I don't necessarily subscribe to there being no free will. I just see no evidence or necessity for it.
Seems obvious to me, so we're missing something in communication.
I don't think there's evidence that there's not. So,
well, there wouldn't be.
I think it's still an open-ended
question. You can't prove a negative.
But until I have a reason to think I don't have free will, my experience bears out very strongly that I'm going to go with
I would think this is free will. I chose to pick up this knife. It was my free will, but you're going to argue.
You wouldn't even touch that knife unless I brought up the subject an hour and a half ago.
Yes, that is his argument. Yeah.
And just because you made a choice doesn't prove any kind of agency.
Yeah. What is choice?
Does, though, but it does.
You have to have agency to make a choice.
That's what agency means.
To make the
choice does not prove agency. If a guy tell you you got to do a thing or I'm finna shoot your kid, you had to do it. It doesn't mean you had free will.
But that is
true. No, but you could also choose not. You can also choose not to listen to them when they shoot your kid.
Yes, you do got free will.
Well, now you're conflating agency with free will at the same time, and a choice is a choice could be interchangeable.
Yeah. I'm not conflating.
Agency is a component of free will. I would argue.
Agency is a component of free will.
Yes, you need to have agency in order for the word will. In order for there to be will, you need agency.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I to me they're the same thing. When I exercise my agency, I'm exercising my will.
No, I understand that. I understand free will. I lived under the illusion of free will for 3 decades.
But for me,
I understand it perfectly. Okay. Almost all of the philosophy that comes out of the West is all about how important and significant and fundamental our free will is. I'm well read on the subject.
Yes.
So it's that Eastern shit that confuses me. And they're starting to, and scientifically, when we start to go look for the Western shit, it's looking like the Eastern people were right the whole time.
Yes, it looks like they took the lead.
Your ego is just a projection of your own fear and insecurities. It's literally standing in between you and your freedom. And the more you give up on the illusion that you're in control, the more power and influence you'll have over the outcomes.
No, I don't know. Wouldn't that mean free will?
That's completely contradictory.
Wouldn't that mean free will? If I have influence over the outcome, we're back to free will.
No, because it doesn't have to be free. It doesn't have to be free or will in order for you to have influence.
I have to choose to give up these things, right?
Does a rock have free will?
No, but does that? But I don't
The
want
rock doesn't
that.
have consciousness or make choices, so it doesn't
Right, but it
count.
has influence as a motherfucker, though. Especially if you're in a boat and you're coming at it at the speed of the stream.
Okay, so
So I'm just saying you don't need free will in order to have influence. That's my point.
Steer the boat that might
Can
either avoid or steer yourself into that rock. I mean, you have choice in terms of how you handle that situation. You do not have free will in terms of what happens to you or what might happen externally, but you have free will in terms of how you react to it. You have free will in terms of how you react to the things that happen to you. That's what we're saying. Like,
You're
that's where the
asserting,
agency
yes.
comes in.
And I would never argue that you don't have a choice. That there isn't the possibility of one outcome over the other.
Well,
what I see no evidence. What I see.
That was our
No.
original.
We talked this out to the end the last time, and when I realized that you were just talking about choices, I told you yes, free will exists.
And you're demonstrating
but that's you confusing choice with free will, not me.
Choice and no free
Type
will.
in define free will into Google. It's my definition. Okay. So yes, by your definition of free will, it exists. Okay, I can concede that.
By your definition,
No, let Angela
speak. That answers that then.
Let Angela
just define words to support our own points.
Angela, please.
I'm just asking what to you then. I don't know how to say your name.
Dennison.
Dennison. What is the difference between making a choice and free will?
Because free will means that there's free and will. So there's an independence and there's the exertion, agency of power.
Mm-hmm.
As I summarized it, the definition is it refers to the ability of humans to make decisions or perform actions independently of any prior event or state of the universe.
Wait, so is choice predetermined?
Well, yes and no.
I don't. I wouldn't assume choice is predetermined. It could be.
Then we're just talking about different things. So this argument really is pointless because
you're having a hard time wrestling with.
I mean, it's not pointless to everybody else who argues about free will.
You're saying it's not independent of source?
It's just that we're not defining the term the same way. If we're not defining the term the same way, then we're talking about two different things then.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the philosophical question of free will that's existed for millennia. I'm not talking about the definition of the word choice. So, yes, you have choices.
You're saying that we're conflating choice and free will, and I'm saying I've never seen.
Yes, absolutely.
I see no evidence.
Our
that
choice
is the freedom, independence, and agency is being inserted in there, and it's an illusion that you've created. At least that's what the evidence points to.
Well,
what about the delayed choice quantum ratio then?
Total of all evidence, present and future on this.
No, and that's why I'm not convinced one way or the other.
Okay, because it sounded like you were originally today.
Well, all of the I have gone looking for evidence of free will and come up completely empty-handed. I've made a deliberate effort to do so, over the course of my lifetime, and I've put a significant amount of time and resources into it and found nothing. And the new evidence that's coming out leans in favor of it not existing. That's where I'm at.
Looks like you.
What does Jesse think? Because I have not heard his.
When you're looking for free will,
I go and look for the me that's making an informed, free, unexerted choice before I'm aware of that choice.
Right. It's logical.
Yeah, Jesse, what is your...
And what's your take on
free will?
I wanted to ask if there was a difference between free will and God's will.
Well, he's an atheist, so that doesn't matter.
In Christian philosophy, I would say no. That's the ultimate rub that I say that most Christians don't understand. And I know there's a lot of varieties of different Christianity. I'm not trying to peg hole anybody. Chris and I have had this conversation. It's not true in his case, right? But the mainstream Christian philosophy both gives Christians the impression that free will is the gift they're given by God.
Right.
And the philosophy itself is also quite clear about how you have no free will.
Yes, but I would agree. When you take both of those things into consideration, it leans that you do still have free will. It tells you
then we have to be God.
It tells you if you exert your free will, you will die and burn in hell. but
Right.
you can choose if you want. I think that's their message.
We would have to become gods ourselves and offer a challenge to God if we are to have free will or exert it.
In their eyes.
Yeah, that's the story of Satan. But you can have free will, like in Christianity. It can be the gift that God gives you, and you can use that will to align it with God's will.
That's what I
And
think I
have the
do every
two
day.
wills become one.
Yes. And that's why I think I gain power. Whether these things have been predetermined or not, I think I wake up every day and define every moment. I think before the problem has presented itself, to find ways to put myself in tune with nature. So I think I'm actively exerting my free will there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we can wrap up. It's
All right. It's been great. I've been neglecting some work for fucking all day anyway.
What kind of work?
I mean, this is.
Um,
I love
uh,
this I love this conversation because it really makes me think about. It really does make me think about things. I mean, it's something that actually challenges my brain.
If you
to
can leave your
expand
emotional
my.
attachments at the door, Dennison is great. And I would agree with Dennison. I would say that Jeff has an emotional attachment to free will, and I don't mind being adult enough to say I do too. I know I do.
Anton, hello.
I
Hey,
believe
sorry,
in
man.
trying to cure it. Whether there's emotion involved or not, I don't even think is relevant.
I think you were taught that actually,
free will.
and because it's such a core part of
I
our
was
psychology,
taught. Nobody
like
sat
the
me
way
down and
humans,
said I have
yeah,
free
they
will.
did,
It comes
yeah, they did,
directly
they absolutely
You
did.
said literally.
Every single thing, every single thing in society is telling you have free will. Our institutions are all based on the presumption. Judeo-Christian
Do
philosophy
you
is
think
at the
that's
core
because
of how
it
almost every
resonates
American
with our
male
experience?
thinks.
Do you think that's our
100%.
institution might be
And it makes sense too, right? Like as human beings, the way we communicate is by telling stories, and our psychology and our politics and our beliefs and all of this stuff is all rolled into this experience that we try to like categorize and create these containers for. And they're just, I can't find them. When I go looking for them, I can't find them.
Well, maybe that's a shortcoming on your part and not ours. Anton,
Could
That
be,
would have been my
but
belief
you
a
can't
long
find
time
it either,
ago.
though. Because
Well, we can't point
show
it out
me,
to
you know, like
it's
where
like
do you
talking to a
find it
flat earther.
when
I
you
see
go
the evidence,
when
but
you go looking for it? Where do you find it? Describe it to me.
Space in
I
which
thought
to
I
make
just
the
did.
choice. I've tried to tell you that 100 times. That's where.
Oh well, then I agree with you. Free will exists. If you thinking that you're the one, making all your decisions and you're completely autonomous,
You
because
have a very bizarre definition of free will. If you're going to claim it,
my definition of free will comes from Google.
But I want to hear.
I don't know what to tell you.
Will.
Let's hear from a new guy.
Yeah, sorry, I just jumped in when I heard you guys were wrapping up. But what was it that Hitchens said about free will? We don't have a choice but to believe in it.
Right.
Okay, so I hate to be like a stereotypical like centrist about this, but
okay.
Do you think it's not possible at all that working with our psyches is both a combination of free will and other like content of our psyche working against us or controlling us or manipulating?
It's certainly possible.
Kind of like
God is possible.
A cigarette smoker can't just use free will to quit smoking cigarettes. There's
I
also
quit
that
smoking.
Right. If you kind of
that you have in a behavioral pattern of living your life a certain way that your brain is addicted to, and when you step out of that path, your brain kind of sends you signals to stop doing that thing. So
and when you understand physically how that's possible and you extrapolate from there,
acting outside of that, you can start acting outside of that path, but there are other factors at bay that might be conceptualized as the unconscious that work against you. And I know that Jeff doesn't really believe in that, but
I don't believe in the unconscious as conventionally put forth. I do believe there are factors that influence and affect us that we may not always be conscious of.
Why is it difficult for a smoker to quit smoking? Why is it sometimes not up to them, so to speak?
Drug.
I did it. I quit cold turkey, so I don't believe smokers.
I was asking Anton.
I think
I
it
have a
is
grandfather
possible
who
to
quit
will
cold
yourself
turkey.
to
Some
quit.
some people have that strong discipline, but the reason why it's difficult is because the nicotine addiction gives you withdrawal symptoms.
Yeah,
Well,
but it
what
only takes
It's also a behavioral pattern because a lot of people struggle with smoking cigarettes because they take breaks at work and they have other friends that take breaks at work to go smoke cigarettes. And when they go out to take a break, they have to stay and keep working. And they say, well, fuck this. I'm just going to take a break because they're motivated to get a 15-minute breather.
This
Everything
is what I
is a
learned about
confluence of habits.
nicotine addiction. I quit it over a weekend, and it took 3 or 4 days to work it out of my system. And after that point, after the physical sip, like it's left your system. It's a mind game. It is a psychological game.
I think
Between
that
you
you
and
were
yourself, and I
You
was
wouldn't have to
determined to
play
win. If I'm
games
going to
if you
play a
had true
mind game with
agency.
myself, I'm going to make sure that I win.
If you had
Anton, I
true
think
agency,
you
it
were
wouldn't
making
require games.
I think you were making Dennison's point, Anton. When you went outside to smoke, you may think that someone would think that they made a free will decision there, but really it was programmed into you like a monkey because everybody else went out there. You
No.
did it, and you had less will involved in that decision than you may think.
I would
You still
agree with
made a
that.
choice. You
But
still wrestled with the temptation, the impulse, and
I
at
like
some
it, Jeff.
point
That's the
made
thing.
a
Is like
choice to
the fact that
succumb
you
to it
attempt
or
to
continue to
wrestle.
I
resist.
like
Yeah,
it,
If you
Jeff.
had
would agree with that,
real
Jeff.
agency, you wouldn't be wrestling.
Yeah, but the attempt at wrestling against that need is a sign of free will, and I don't think it's like a dichotomy of you either have free will or you
Agreed.
don't. I think
I
you
agree.
have free will to fight against your biological or
Right.
your addictive tendencies.
Wrestling alone wouldn't
It's
make
just
it disqualify it from being free will.
it's just you recognizing the suffering of your
No, it's the
choices
freedom to do
and
the wrestling.
in the
it's
face
a-
of being habitually addicted to those choices.
So maybe
And
I'm
then there's there's always going to be a whole bunch of external factors that you're just not going to take into consideration anytime you're making a choice.
Of course,
Obviously,
we
right?
love
Like
that, but that doesn't
Jeff thinks in
lock
that
it.
instance that he makes that choice, he's in a quantum bubble where
Okay.
where
So
the
maybe
environment doesn't even matter at that point.
But I'm wondering, because the way that you're making it sound that we don't have free will and the wrestling is a sign of not having free will, you're kind of making like a metaphysical argument almost, as if everything is predetermined and everything we do is not free will. Everything that happens has already been determined or is
Not
going
predetermined.
to happen that way.
There's no predetermined necessary for you not to have agency over everything that you choose.
So what's the difference between agency and free will? I know this has already been talked about.
I would say agency is a component of free will, but that wasn't the problem. The problem is predeterminism. You took an even extra step to predeterminism. There's no predeterminism required at all.
So agency is different from free will, but it's a component of free will. So can you try defining those two things again?
Free will is the ability of a person to make a decision or perform actions independently of any prior event or state of the universe.
I don't know if that's
not the definition most people I know would accept.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
free will. It's
vague.
not freedom from contingency. It's just independence.
No, not from contingency.
The universe put me in that place. I'll acknowledge
and freedom.
that.
The reason why I use the word freedom, and that would be the independence part of it.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're using the
It's
cosmos
independent of the
universe in place
factors
of
that are
God.
influencing it, because that the
I
factors
couldn't hear you guys.
That is identical with the factors themselves. It's influencing something differentiated from that, which would be the will.
And when I stopped smoking,
You
I
lost me.
used my willpower. And part of it is I needed to keep a pack of smokes in my car at all times, because part of that, quitting smoking with my willpower is thinking about going to the store and buying it, that whole experience. So when I knew I had smokes with me
So
at all
your
times,
willpower, your willpower is freedom, is free will. That's agency.
well, I used my willpower in order to not smoke any more cigarettes.
That's a yes, right? Would you say yes?
I'd say yes.
Yeah.
So then, do some people have more free will than other people?
No. Some people have the free will to sit on their ass and eat chicken all day and be 500 pounds. Don't mean they don't have the free will. They still made a decision.
So you think that's logically consistent? You think people who don't quit smoking, who don't quit eating unhealthy, they really just don't give a fuck. They're just lazy. They don't suffer from it and wish they could make a different choice every second of every day of
I
their
don't know
life.
about that, but they still have the choice, so they still have agency. They
Well,
suffer,
choice.
may be something
No.
different.
Because agency is the control over the choice, independent of other factors, and informed. Agency is also informed. So just being able to make a choice, I could roll dice and make a choice. I can just random, especially if I have free will. If I have free will, then I can definitely choose not to use it, and I can pick something randomly.
I think so. Yeah, I think
But
that's
then
what.
you're choosing to pick something randomly. You're
Sure.
using free will.
If I had free will, yes.
Randomly.
Yes, if I had free will, then I
So
could choose.
what's determining you to pick something randomly if it's not your
And
own
that
will?
in that case, free will. The premise of the statement is if I had free will, I could choose not to use it and just choose something randomly.
Meaning, no one can make
that
a
other
random
thing?
decision, right? Inherent in that statement, no one can make a random decision.
Not from the subjective perspective of your experience, because the decision's already occurred.
I hear where you're going with that. I don't know if I agree with it, but I understand what you're saying.
So what are you using to choose something randomly?
In that scenario, free will.
But I thought you said free will is not a thing.
He also said
I have seen no
random is not a
evidence.
thing.
I said see no evidence that free will exists.
So how do you know
that
the
was?
limitation
But you
is not
see
in your
evidence that
perception?
agency exists. And agency is a component of free will. So
No,
agency
no,
is
I
a
don't see that.
component of
Brilliant.
something
Fuck
that
is
No.
your name?
You said
Anton,
agency
brilliant.
is a
But I
component
don't.
for
But he's just
decline.
making shit up though, so it's not that brilliant. I didn't say agency exists. The fact that you don't have agency is where I'm getting where
No,
you
you
lose
said-
the.
I didn't.
The fact that you don't have agency is. I'm going to finish this sentence. I swear to God. The fact that you don't have agency is where the will part of the definition falls away. Because I don't
All
believe
right,
you
he
have
doesn't
agency.
believe with great agency.
You said you can rewind the stream that agency is a component of free will.
Yes. Yes.
And
that's not mutually exclusive
if
with the
you're
thing I
saying that
just said.
agency, if you are saying that agency is a component of free will,
Correct.
doesn't that imply that you think free will is a thing?
He said it was. He said he believes.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah, no,
saying-
free will is a thing, just like God is a thing. It's a projection into your ego.
Yes,
So
he doesn't
why-
really believe free will is a thing. So agency is not a thing.
You
he's
don't have
over there.
real agency. You don't have real free will. It's a projection, an illusion. I'm well aware that the illusion exists. It's a fundamental part of our society.
Non-existent thing has a components to it.
Absolutely, just like God.
So I'll give
God
you
is
a
extremely real, and God is also completely man-made.
So I'll
Damn, did my internet go out?
So
No, I hear.
A person-
something just paused.
a person gets into a habit of overeating and becomes morbidly obese and is in that habit for 10 years of their life. And then one day or over a long progressive period, something snaps in them and they suddenly start eating healthy and they start working out and they start losing weight. Would you say that the entire time something was like preordained or
Yep.
it was never out of their choice?
Not preordained, just the ability to make that choice, along with whatever discipline is involved in that choice, existed when they were acting in an undisciplined manner.
Right. We shouldn't say preordained.
And
yeah.
right, and if you add up the suffering of that 10 years of abuse, you're adding to the
logicalness.
Right, to have a different choice without there being any agency or free
Right.
will. Just
He
a
got
consequence of
sad
your
of
monkey
being
brain
fat.
slamming into that fucking wall over and over again. Eventually, you're going to try something else and go with it.
So he thinks it was free will,
No,
but
not
really
eventually.
he
You're
got
not
tired of
going to try that.
suffering.
Some people are
And
morbidly
real
obese
quick, real quick, and I'll shut up. Real quick. What I find when I have these conversations is that, first of all, I believed in free will my whole life and argued in favor of it. Once I found I couldn't find it and that the evidence pointed to the contrary, I started having these conversations. I was really convinced that people didn't want to lose the ability to hold people accountable for their bad actions, because that's usually what everybody brings up first. What I realize though is they don't want to give up the glory of their good actions. That's really what gets. That's why they cannot accept that free will doesn't exist. Not because they're worried about society collapsing under the lack of responsibility or accountability. It's because I got that promotion. I bought that car. I'm a good father. I'm a good husband. That's what I find.
You don't have any way
Go ahead.
No,
There's a better
I would
argument
say that I'm
there.
motivated because I would say that I'm motivated by the idea that you think that something is like predetermined in us, or there's something metaphysical beyond us that keeps us from having free will or making an independent choice, and that's what I'm motivated to deconstruct.
I don't know. I don't believe that. I'm not sure how I can articulate
Not being
it.
able to find something is not evidence that it doesn't exist.
I keep trying to explain why predetermined is not a thing.
You've
There's no predetermination, no preordination. I don't assume any of those things.
Let's say you keep bumping your head because the thing is low. The ceiling is low, and then one day you go out there and put it up. It wasn't predetermined that you'd bump your head and put that up. So predetermined doesn't X out what Dennison is talking about. It still remains that you bumped your head and you think you made a decision to do that shit, but enough bumps and you were gonna do it.
You were, because you had some discipline, some knowledge, some experience. You had a personality type. There's some people who will die bumping their head against it, unfortunately.
Yeah. And Dennison, about the other argument, that the thing that you were talking about, people do it for glory. I think there's another reason people do it. Mostly it's, I'll say it shortly, is to get to heaven. People believe that if I'm a good man and I'm in tune with nature, whatever their belief is, if I could achieve this being, then I'll get where I'm going.
And I don't hate anybody or judge anybody for that either, right? I'm a fucking human being. You know, I know exactly what it feels like to think that way. I'm just saying that when I go interrogating myself and challenging myself, QED.
Yeah, well, you don't find agency, and I do. So we find different things when we interrogate.
It's logical. You're different.
And then and I can accept that, but then I ask you,
you're not.
I explain you to describe to me what you're seeing, where you see it. Can you do that?
I don't think you guys can really. You never agreed on a definition of free will. You were going to be stuck in a loop forever anyway. You guys would have had to do that shit.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's just choices.
We agreed on the definition. It's just he put the definition of free will into a word called agency and said it was different.
Oh,
yeah. I said, how many times did I say on this stream? I'll go back.
Because you can't have will without your agency.
Dude, I don't know what you're even trying to say. So, like, what is keeping you in this conversation? Yeah. Are you choosing to be in this conversation right now?
Yeah.
Very good. That is not agency. That is not free will.
You know why this is happening?
Not the kind of agency you believe you have, Joe, and you know that.
I was sensing wrap-up energy.
He is saying that the situation brought him to this point, and he's stuck.
Yeah, I didn't choose to be this denizen that I am. Yeah. I didn't choose that. I didn't have any fucking power over that. I don't get any
about yourself
for things that I do that people think are good. It doesn't make me a great person, and the things I do that people think are shitty doesn't make me evil either. I just am, bro.
Set morals aside. You just said that you didn't choose to do all this. So what's choosing it if it's not you?
There doesn't have to be who
circumstances and all of those things that made him become the circumstances that brought him.
You're the one using the circular logic. Because you're assuming there has to be a who and a choice. Yes, you're literally assuming there has to be a who and a choice. And if I don't agree with it, that's what circular logic is.
No, you're in an Ouroboros. It's even worse.
Ouroboros.
That's the state of nature. So where do you think the symbol comes from? That's one of the wisest symbols in the history of mankind.
Okay, Denizen, get your final thought in, and then we'll start wrapping
up. I think that's good. It serves good as my final thought.
Okay. Say bye.
I am pro Aurora Borealis.
We're trying to
High Five Love Tribe tonight, where we're going to be praying for and meditating for Sierra Leone. So we're going to be dancing from 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we're going to do some prayers and some meditation for the people at Sierra Leone. Apparently, some people from Sierra Leone that's going through some horrific things right now are going to be there watching it and, seeing that, other people around the world care about, what's going on with them. So that's tonight, High Vibe Love Tribe at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Okay,
All right.
I'm gonna put the link to Jesse's channel. Who? Anyone go next? Whoever wants to go. Angeline.
Well, I know I'm going to go next because just to prove my point, I choose to leave the stream right now.
Look at that wheel in action.
I just thought it was all very interesting and taking it all in and letting my brain calculate as it went.
If I wasn't
And-
here, would he have chosen to leave at the same time?
Sorry, what?
Probably not, but does that make his will not free will?
It does. It definitely doesn't make it independent and free.
Because there were influences on it. You can't seem to separate the influence from the will itself. But we'll get into that another day, I'm sure. Joe, anything you want to?
I love you, cats. Don't change a thing.
See you in the streets. Anton, what's up?
Thanks for letting me come on. I was only listening for about 5 minutes beforehand, so sorry if I repeated any points that were made, but thanks for letting me come on and spending an extra 20 minutes on here.
You added just what needed to be added in a very constructive way. So thank you.
All right. Looking forward to the next one I can be a part of.
Same here. Anytime.
See you later, Jeff.
Okay. I think Frank and I are going to do our Discord thing, TV watching. And there's probably verbal combat tonight on Speakeasy's channel. There is the dance thing that Jesse just announced on his channel, which I'm about to pop in the comments. And Talcott streaming right now. We'll be in the Discord. And other than that, we'll see you tomorrow. Oh, and PF Young is streaming tomorrow. He's doing his morning show. Probably taking callers. So y'all can catch that too. Yeah, we'll Denizen, when I'm looking at it, because I'm visual spatial, so I can see like the conceptual vision of it, like in a really diagrammatic way and semantic. And this is a conceptual difficulty and a semantic difficulty. It's not an actual metaphysical or ontological difficulty, I don't believe. So that gives me hope we can get there. Talcott is in. Okay. And on that note, we will say adieu. Bye. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. Adios. Arrivederci. Sayonara. Later. Later, bro.